Chapter 31. This was a realistic world. There was no such thing as a pie falling from the sky for no reason. Even if there was a pie falling from the sky, it would have been purposely dropped from above. If Peaceful had not lied about Charlotte being her boyfriend, Lin Yuanshan would not have given Charlotte this chance. He had not even asked about his talent, and he had allowed Charlotte to try it out. However, Xia Lei did not take Peaceful's words seriously. He thought the reason why Peaceful said he was her boyfriend was probably because she wanted to return the favor. This opportunity did not come easily. Sister Ning lied to her second uncle. No matter what, I have to take this deal. As long as this business is completed, my reputation will definitely come out, and I won't have to worry about not earning money in the future. Xia Lei secretly thought in his heart, and there seemed to be a kind of power flowing in his body. Little Lei. Ning Yuanshan had addressed Xia Lei as master when there were others, but now that there were no outsiders, he changed the way he addressed Xia Lei as Xia Lei. He also had a cordial smile on his face. Well, how old are you this year? Charlotte felt awkward and nervous. Peaceful pushed Charlotte's back. Then, she quickly gave him a hand gesture. Her hand gesture was simple. She had 5 fingers on her left hand and 2 on her right. Charlotte said, Uncle Ning, I am 25 this year. Haha, you guys are the same age. Ning Yuanshan was not satisfied with this information. He asked, Little Lei, who is in your family? Charlotte forced himself to say, My mother passed away a long time ago, and my father. Now it is just my sister and I. She just got into Jingdu University this year. In half a month, she will be going to Jingdu to study. I see. Ning Yuanshan's smile grew wider. He had a car, a house, and both his parents were dead. That was the best criteria for choosing a partner. For a man like Ning Yuanshan, a house and a car were nothing to him. He was happy that Charlotte's parents were not there. Peaceful felt even more awkward than Charlotte. Before Ning Yuanshan could ask any new questions, she said, Second uncle, this is the first time Leicester has seen you. Don't ask him so many questions. It's so awkward. Hee, speaking up for him so soon? Alright, I won't say anything. You youngsters are getting more and more outrageous. You're hiding such a big thing from this and that, and you're not even letting me tell your dad. Stop talking. Peaceful covered her ears. Ning Yuanshan closed his mouth and glanced at Charlotte with a helpless expression. However, he was quite satisfied with Charlotte's image and temperament. Charlotte was sunny and handsome, confident but modest, and very polite to his elders. Most importantly, Charlotte's parents had passed away, which made him give Charlotte a high evaluation in his heart. They were talking and laughing when they reached the door of the workshop. Qi Jingqiu came out and politely said, Director Ning, they are ready. Okay. Ning Yuanshan nodded. He called out to Charlotte and said, Master Lei, let's go in. Okay, Director Ning, Charlotte said. He thought it was interesting. When there was no one around, one was Little Lei, and the other was Uncle Ning. When there were people around, it was Director Ning and Master Lei. When Charlotte walked past Qi Jingqiu quietly said, Leicester, let's talk later. Charlotte was shocked. He did not know how to answer. Peaceful came over and held Charlotte's hand. Lei, do you guys know each other? He had become Lei again. Charlotte did not know whether to laugh or cry. He started to worry. If this continued, he might become the father of a child or something. We know each other, but we are not that close. Qi Jingqiu looked very careful. I see. Lei, let's go in. I want to see you show off your skills, Peaceful urged. Okay, let's go in. Charlotte did not talk to Qi Jingqiu. He let Peaceful take his arm and walk into the workshop. He did not know what Qi Jingqiu wanted to talk to him about. He did not want to talk to her about anything. Peaceful made him nervous. Her arm was very soft. There was another place that was even softer, but he did not want her to let go. In any case, this situation gave him a headache, but it also made him feel comfortable. It was complicated and weird. Seeing Charlotte and Peaceful's backs close together, Qi Jingqiu was frozen. She followed them. After entering the workshop, there were many people around. Peaceful let go of Charlotte's arm. Good luck. Charlotte nodded and walked over to Ning Yuanshan. Next to Ning Yuanshan stood a few engineers in work attire. There was also a large, imported, precision CNC machine tool. It looked like the imported precision machine tool was where he would test his skills. When he came to the machine tool, Charlotte saw German. It was a precision CNC machine tool imported from Germany. It was worth tens of millions. In fact, importing equipment from Europe and the United States was not bad. Importing precision parts from Europe and the United States was extortion. A precision bearing cost tens of thousands of dollars, and there was no bargaining. This was the result of a backward manufacturing industry. You knew you were being extorted, but you still had to buy it with a smile. Once there was an international dispute or a conflict of interest, Europe and the United States would restrict this trade. Here, the high-precision products were useless. If his precision manufacturing industry did not catch up to Europe and the United States, this problem would not be solved. "Young man, have you ever used a machine tool like this?" An engineer asked Charlotte with a questioning tone. It was not just him. When Charlotte appeared, the engineers of Dongfeng Heavy Industry, who had been waiting for the mysterious elite to show off his skills, were disappointed. In their opinion, a young man like Charlotte could not be skilled. The reason why they were still standing here was because of Ning Yuanshan. Charlotte looked very calm. He said lightly, "This is a DMG precision lathe imported from Germany. It has a precision of 0.0001 mm. After a pause, he said, "Although I have never used such good windows, I think there should be no problem. I can also use my own Baoji lathe to process the precision of 0.0009 mm. The engineer who spoke said, "Young man, it's not good to brag. We all know the performance of domestic lathes. Can you use a domestic Baoji lathe to process precision 0.0009 mm precision machined parts? I don't believe that no one in our country can reach this level." Although he was questioned by the engineer, Charlotte still maintained a polite attitude. He said, "I'm not lying. Why don't you try it?" "Yes." Ning Yuanshan said, "Let him try. Some of you just won't change your minds. Young people these days have the ability. In the future, won't the world be ruled by young people today?" Ning Yuanshan had spoken up for Charlotte. Who would dare to casually speak up and question Charlotte? The engineer who first questioned Charlotte also changed his tone. He pointed to the imported machine tool and said, "We have an imported bearing that lacks a shaft. You can process one. There is information about this bearing on the machine tool, as well as the precision and damping coefficient of the shaft. You can take a look and then you can start." It seemed very simple to process a shaft used to connect the bearing, but if it was an imported bearing with damping coefficient requirements, it would be very difficult. It was like asking a chef to process a piece of tofu. If it was just asking a chef to cut the tofu into pieces and fry it in a pot, any chef could do it. But if a chef was asked to carve a group of 2 dragons playing with a bead on this piece of tofu and then cook it, not many chefs could do it. Knowing that it would be difficult, Charlotte did not hesitate. He went to the machine tool and looked through the information and materials left by the engineer. Several engineers next to him were talking. "Who is this kid? He's not famous, and he dares to come here at such a young age? That's right. I don't believe he has any real skills when I see him. I heard that this kid was recommended by Chairman Ning's niece. Chairman Ning's son died on the battlefield, and he treats Ningjing like his own. How could he not take care of her? So that's the reason. No wonder. Some of these discussions were doubtful, and some were not pleasant to hear. But none of them said anything good about Charlotte. Qi Jingqiu was standing next to the engineers. She listened to their discussion, and a faint smile appeared on her face. Then, she crossed her arms and looked at Charlotte calmly. She thought to herself, this kid Charlotte must be a liar. When did he go to advanced engineering school? If not, he's just a high school graduate. He probably used his good looks and his mouth to coax Director Ning's precious niece. But isn't he being too arrogant? This isn't a place for him to pick up girls. These engineers are the top engineers in the country, and all of them are experts. How can they be fooled by him? Sigh, this is going to be a joke. Luckily, I was smart back then and didn't get fooled by him. Want to be with me? Does he deserve it? Humph, he's just a toad that looks better. Charlotte naturally became the center of attention when he came here. Everyone had their own opinions about him, and everyone had their own thoughts. But no matter who they were and what they thought, it couldn't affect Charlotte anymore. After reading the information on the imported bearings and the requirements for the axle, Charlotte immediately started the lathe. He did it without any hesitation or fear, because his left eye was the most precise existence in the world. The imported DMG lathe was indeed advanced. When it was operating, no sound could be heard. This precise lathe was actually a very precise existence. Every bearing, every screw, and every part were precise to the extreme. Germany represented the highest level in this field. This was not an exaggeration, it was the real deal. But now, this precise lathe from Germany was very tame under Charlotte's hands. It executed Charlotte's every operation meticulously. The lathe blade spun quickly, and the alloy parts fixed to the lathe also changed shape rapidly. Everything seemed smooth and practiced. Is this really the kid's first time using this kind of lathe? One of the engineers couldn't help but ask. Someone said, it's obvious that this kid often uses this kind of imported lathe. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so skilled. We had to hire a professional translator to slowly master the operation of the German language. How could he just casually look at it and operate it? Someone said, yeah, this kid is really cunning. He purposely said it was his first time using this kind of imported lathe. He wants to surprise us, right? Someone else said, maybe he knows German. Someone else said, even if he knows German, this lathe is filled with professional terms. Who would learn this kind of German? Only a professional translator can translate this kind of German. Even those who can speak German fluently can't do it. Someone else exclaimed, hey, this is a strange kid. There were all kinds of comments, but Qi Jingqiu's eyebrows slowly furrowed. Chapter 32. 15-minute. It only took 15 minutes for Charlotte to complete the operation. Under normal circumstances, his job would have been done, and he could have handed over the shaft to the engineer for verification, but he didn't do so. Master Lei, are you done? Ning Yuanshan said with a smile. Charlotte had completed the processing smoothly, and as an uncle, he actually had a lot of face, so he was very happy. An engineer also said, Master Lei, right? Are you done? If you're done, give it to me, I'll take it for testing. Charlotte shook his head. You've lowered the precision of this machine. The precision of the shaft I've processed is only 0.0005 mm. This can't be considered finished. After a pause, he said lightly, also, the precision of this imported bearing is actually 0.00009, which is a millimeter difference, but it can't work properly. I'm sure that even if this imported machine didn't change the precision in advance, it can't process the parts that meet the standard. I guess you must have tried many times before, but failed, right? After Charlotte's words, the whole workshop was silent. The engineer who first questioned Charlotte secretly glanced at Qi Jingqiu. His expression was very strange, but Qi Jingqiu still felt a little guilty and avoided his eyes. What's going on? Ning Yuanshan was a little angry. Did I ask you to lower the precision of the machine? Who asked you to do it? Stand up. The engineer who first questioned Charlotte looked at Qi Jingqiu again, and Qi Jingqiu's face was pale. At this time, an old engineer said, Director Ning, I was the one who adjusted the machine. I just wanted to test Master Lei's skills. Not only is his skill superb, but his vision is also unique. I admire him. Ning Yuanshan looked at the old engineer, a little unhappy, but not obvious. Lu Gong, aren't you looking for trouble? I've finally invited an expert, but you guys are good, making trouble for me. Qi Jingqiu secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and her pale face had a little more color. Charlotte saw all of this and was well aware of it. Qi Jingqiu made a mess, and this old man with the surname Lu came out to be the scapegoat. Moreover, Qi Jingqiu's husband's surname was Lu. Was there even a need to guess the relationship between these two? Lu Gong bowed to Charlotte. I'm sorry, Master Lei. Please forgive me. Regardless of the relationship between Lu Gong and Qi Jingqiu, the unhappiness in Charlotte's heart vanished when a white-haired old engineer apologized to him. He helped Lu Gong up and said, It's okay, it's okay. Engineer Lu is doing this for the greater good. You don't have to apologize to me, really. Lu Gong patted Charlotte's shoulder and chuckled. Young man, I rarely admire people, but you are one of them. Tell me, how did you know that the accuracy of the machine was lowered? How do you know that this machine can't process the parts we need? Experience. Charlotte gave an answer that wasn't really an answer. He definitely wouldn't say that he saw it with his eyes. If he said that, who knew how many jaws would drop to the ground? He's hiding it well. Lu Gong said with a smile, however, it's not a secret in our line of work. All right, I won't ask you why. However, what I want to say is that we currently can't process the parts of this imported bearing. Even if we manage to process it, we can't make it work properly. He then looked at Ning Yuanshan and said, Director Ning, it's not that I want to pour cold water on this young man, but without a better machine tool and technology, he can't process the parts we need. It's better to make a report and find a way to import it from abroad. That's the only way to solve the problem. Ning Yuanshan frowned and said, Now that Europe and America have implemented a stricter technology blockade policy on us, it's not that we don't want to buy better machine tools, it's that they won't sell them. Now, precision machining parts and materials that are suspected to be used in national defense construction are restricted from trading. If you can buy them, I will immediately let you be the chairman. These words were filled with anger. No matter how hard Lu Gong's bones were, he didn't dare to go against it, so he shut his mouth. At this time, Charlotte said, Actually, there's no need for a more advanced lathe. I can just process the shaft of this bearing by hand to meet the requirement. The workshop suddenly became quiet again. There was no sound at all. Everyone's eyes were focused on Charlotte, and their eyes were all so strange. Lu Gong said, Young man, I admit that you are capable, but it's not good to boast. Your boasting is simply a joke. How can your hands be better than the high-precision machine tools imported from Germany? Are you trying to challenge our intelligence? Someone echoed, That's right, aren't your words too unreliable? Someone else said, Young man, it's embarrassing to say that you can't do it. Think about it before you say it. Sarcasm and ridicule filled the room. Qi Jingqiu laughed inexplicably. She thought to herself, I don't know when Xiao Lei learned this skill, but I know that he loves to be in the limelight. It's been so many years, but he still hasn't gotten rid of this bad habit. My father-in-law is the most advanced engineer in the country. What he says is never wrong. Earlier, this kid was lucky enough to get away with it, but this time, he really can't cover up his lie. Peaceful stared at Xiao Lei. Her eyes were filled with worry. Xiao Lei nodded. Charlotte didn't argue with anyone. He took the shaft that had been processed and turned around to walk toward a normal manual lathe in the corner of the workshop. He wants to use an antique lathe to process high-precision parts? Someone asked. Is this kid a joke? This kid is always surprising, someone said. This time, I don't believe he will succeed, even if you beat me to death. There was another murmur of discussion. There were all sorts of things being said. Ning Yuanshan was getting impatient. He pulled Peaceful aside and quietly asked, "Can your boyfriend do it?" Peaceful's pretty face turned red. "I don't know, second uncle. You know I don't know much about your line of work. But I told you about how he fixed the Ming Dynasty compass. His skills are really good. It doesn't matter if you believe him or not." "I believe him." Ning Yuanshan had a wry smile. "Of course you believe him, but I have to deal with these stubborn old men. Once they decide on something, even 9 bulls can't pull them back. To be honest, this time I really hope your boyfriend succeed. I really want to see these stubborn old men get slapped in the face. Times are improving. Why don't they want to improve? I'll go watch Ale work." Peaceful turned around and left. "You?" Ning Yuanshan sighed. Just as everyone was discussing, the antique lathe began to operate. Charlotte stared at the spinning shaft. He slowly put the knife down. In other people's eyes, Charlotte didn't use the knife to touch the shaft, but in Charlotte's eyes, the knife was already cutting the surface of the shaft. There was no sound of friction, and there were no metal shavings falling. But his high-precision manual work was still going on. 5 minutes later, he stopped the lathe. He used a clean, oiled cloth to wipe the shaft. He said, "Okay, you guys can go and try it." No one went up. A group of old engineers looked at Charlotte with their mouths open. It was like what Charlotte was holding was not a high-precision shaft that had been reworked by hand. Instead, it was a grenade. Whoever touched it would explode. Charlotte opened his hands. "Why are you guys looking at me like that?" Lu Gong's eyes suddenly landed on the oiled cloth in Charlotte's hands. He couldn't move his eyes away. Earlier, no one thought Charlotte was working on the shaft, but the cloth had very fine metal shavings on it. "Hey!" Ning Yuanshan spoke again. "What are you guys waiting for? Didn't you hear what Master Lei said? Master Lei has finished it. Why aren't you guys taking it to test?" "Oh, right away." Lu Gong snapped back to reality. He quickly took the shaft that Charlotte had worked on and took it to test. A large group of engineers followed Lu Gong. They were all talking at once, and it was very lively. Charlotte wasn't interested in watching the old men test it. He trusted his own eyes. Ning Yuanshan excitedly walked over to see the test result. Peaceful walked over to Charlotte. When she got close, she quietly asked, "Master Lei, did it work?" Charlotte nodded. "I think it worked. It wasn't that hard." Peaceful hit Charlotte and smiled. "You're so smug." Qi Jingqiu looked at Charlotte and Peaceful's intimacy. Her eyes became more and more complicated. At this moment, Ning Yuanshan suddenly burst into laughter. "Success! F***CK. Who cares about the European and American technology? My people can work on it with their hands." The CEO of a large state-owned enterprise cursed. This was more surprising than Charlotte working on high-precision parts with his hands. Everyone's eyes focused on Ning Yuanshan. They probably couldn't find the words to describe Ning Yuanshan at that moment. Cough, cough. Ning Yuanshan pulled on his tie and returned to his serious look. "Good, very good. You all saw it. You have to give it to me. In the future, don't mention anything about trying to import from Europe or America in front of me. I don't like hearing that. I'll let Master Lei work on the high-precision parts we urgently need. No matter what he needs, you guys have to satisfy him. Satisfy him unconditionally. If anyone tries to mess things up, I'll make them leave." If Charlotte had said something like that the moment he came to Ning Yuanshan, the group of engineers wouldn't have been happy with him. The voices of dissent wouldn't have been small. Now, however, no one objected. Ning Yuanshan said, "Secretary Qi, Master Lei will be working here for a while. You'll be in charge of his food and living arrangements." "Okay, CEO Ning." Qi Jingqiu smiled sweetly. "Let's go." Ning Yuanshan didn't have the patience to deal with the group of old men. He waved at Charlotte and said, "Master Lei, let's go to the office to talk about the contract." Charlotte had a friendly smile. "Okay." Qi Jingqiu followed Charlotte. When Ning Yuanshan and Peaceful turned to walk out of the workshop, she said in a very small voice, "Lei, when you're done with your business with Mr. Ning, don't leave in a hurry. We haven't seen each other in years. Let me buy you a cup of coffee. Let's talk." Charlotte smiled. "Aren't you afraid your brother Wu Qilong will misunderstand?" Qi Jingqiu felt like there was a fishbone in her throat. Chapter 33. In the office, Ning Yuanshan poured a glass of red wine for Charlotte. Then, he poured a glass for himself and Peaceful. With his status, this was a gesture of respect for Charlotte. "Thank you, Uncle Ning." Charlotte was very polite. He acted like a junior. Ning Yuanshan laughed. "Why are you being so polite? We are a family. In the future, you will have to call me second uncle." Charlotte did not dare say anything. He knew Peaceful had lied about being his boyfriend to help him get this deal. That was awkward enough. If he said something else, it would be awkward. Second uncle. Peaceful was not happy. "Can you not talk about this? Don't you want to talk business with Ale? Let's talk." Ning Yuanshan had a wry smile. "Okay, little Lei. Let's talk business." Xia Lei also secretly breathed a sigh of relief. "Okay, Uncle Ning, please speak." Ning Yuanshan said, "You did a great job this time. I am happy to see those stubborn old men suffer. They were convinced by you. These precision parts are very important to us. They are related to... Never mind. There are some things you don't need to know. I can't tell you. How about this? We will pay for the materials and equipment. You will be in charge of the processing. When it is done, we will give you 1 million. Little Lei, what do you think? 1 million? Charlotte was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. Ning Yuanshan asked, "What? Is it too little?" No. I mean... Charlotte wanted to say too much, but he changed his mind and said, "It doesn't matter how much it is. The most important thing is to complete this order." "Yes, I have no problem with that. I agree." "Haha. You are so straightforward. I like young people like you. Cheers to our meeting and cooperation." Ning Yuanshan raised his glass. The three of them clinked glasses and drank the wine. Charlotte noticed the red wine in the wine cabinet. It was the Great Wall red wine. The most expensive one was only 200. From this, it was not difficult to see that Ning Yuanshan was not the kind of person who used his power to seek personal gain. He was the kind of person who sincerely worked for the country. In fact, Ning Yuanshan didn't take care of Charlotte, his niece's son-in-law, when he offered the 1 million yuan salary. This kind of precision-machined parts couldn't be bought abroad, and no one in the country could process them. With this, it wouldn't be a problem for Charlotte to ask for a higher salary. However, Charlotte was also a practical person. He would not extort others at this time. If he did that, would Serenity still treat him as a friend? Ning Yuanshan was indeed a swift and decisive person. He quickly had Qi Jingqiu draft the contract and then signed it with Charlotte. "Xiaolei, you can stay here for the time being. I'll have Secretary Qi arrange a place for you to stay. You can have Secretary Qi buy anything you need." After signing the contract, Ning Yuanshan was very happy. Charlotte said, "Do we have to live here? I could have come earlier." Ning Yuanshan put his hand on Charlotte's shoulder and whispered in Charlotte's ear, "My good nephew, the higher-ups are pressing us. To be honest, I made a military order to solve this problem in half a month. Work a little harder these few days. Do some overtime. Consider it a favor for your second uncle. In the future, when you and Serenity get married, I'll go to your wedding. When you have children, Before he could finish, Charlotte interrupted him. "Okay, Uncle Ning. I'll stay here for the next few days. Finish the order as soon as possible." "Haha. It's good to be a family." Ning Yuanshan gave Charlotte a bear hug. Serenity looked at Ning Yuanshan and Charlotte, who were hugging each other. She had an awkward smile on her face. Although she did not hear what Ning Yuanshan said to Charlotte, she was smart enough to guess. Serenity, you go back. I'll leave Xiaolei here. I'll borrow him for a few days. Ning Yuanshan looked as if he was afraid Serenity would take Charlotte away, so he asked her to leave. Serenity smiled. You are my good uncle. You burn the bridge after crossing it, but you are my uncle. Okay, I'm leaving. I'll leave him here. You have to look after him for me. Don't let anyone steal him. Who would dare? Ning Yuanshan stared at her. Serenity and Ning Yuanshan were just joking. Qi Jingqiu, who was standing next to them, had a weird look on her face. No one knew what she was thinking. Charlotte walked Serenity away. As he walked, he said, Sister Ning, I don't know how to thank you. Serenity smiled. Why are you thanking me? You earned money with your own abilities. I was just a middleman. You don't have to thank me. Charlotte said, You are right, but I know that without you, I wouldn't have been able to enter Dongfang heavy industry. I wouldn't have been able to meet your second uncle and negotiate this deal. Okay. Do you really want to thank me? Serenity asked. Then, hurry up and finish this order. It is important to my second uncle and this country. If you finish it, you will thank me. This is more important than any gift. You really don't want a gift. Charlotte really wanted to give her something. Yes, Serenity said. If you really want to give me a gift, I won't object. How about this? After you finish the order, you can treat me to a meal. Charlotte said, Sure. After I finish the order, I will treat you to the best Western restaurant. Serenity smiled and said, I don't like Western food. I like Sichuan food. After this is done, you can treat me to a Sichuan restaurant. Charlotte was shocked. He nodded. Serenity smiled and left. Charlotte was still standing there, watching her back. He thought about Jiang Rui. When he wanted to eat Western food, Jiang Rui dragged him to eat Sichuan food. When he wanted to treat Serenity to Western food, Serenity wanted to eat Sichuan food. Different women had different dishes. Lei, she is already far away. Are you still reluctant to let her go? A woman's voice came from behind him. Charlotte turned his head and saw Qi Jingqiu. Qi Jingqiu, who stood in front of him, was very elegant. Her body had a mature and attractive aura. No matter where a woman like that went, she would not lack the attention of men. But this girl, who he had a crush on, could no longer pique his interest. When did you guys meet? Qi Jingqiu seemed to be interested in Charlotte and Serenity's love history. Charlotte casually said, Half a year ago. I met her half a year ago. Qi Jingqiu clicked her tongue and said, I couldn't tell that you were with the Ning family's daughter. Next, you will probably use Ning Yuanshan's relationship to work at Dongfang heavy industry. Charlotte looked at her. Jingqiu, don't think of everyone as like you, okay? Qi Jingqiu was not angry. She still had that lovely smile on her face. We are the same kind of people, aren't we? When I was in school, my family was poor. I saw other girls wearing pretty dresses, and I wanted to buy one for myself. When I saw other students going to KFC and Starbucks, I wanted to try them, but I didn't have money. I could only hide my wishes in my heart. Aren't you the same? I am the prettiest girl in class. You want me and you want the best, but you don't have that. You know, if you had just invited me to Starbucks instead of writing me a messy love letter, I would have gone with you. We might not be like this now, but what do you think? Charlotte was silent. He didn't know how to answer her question. His heart was also inexplicably filled with a hint of sadness. No matter what the woman in front of him had become, she was still the girl he used to like. Her personality and the things she did might be annoying, but everyone had the right to pursue a better life. Was it wrong for a woman to want to live a better life? This was a world full of desires. The rich wanted to be richer, and the poor wanted to be richer. Men wanted beautiful women, and women wanted everything from the best men. People are born to live in this and that kind of desire. Who can get rid of it? Lei, tell me, if time went back to the past, would you pursue me in a different way? Qi Jingqiu's eyes rippled with gentleness. Would you treat me to Starbucks? Charlotte thought for a moment, then said with a smile, I'll treat you to soy milk. Would you go? Chi Jingqiu shook her head. I hate the smell. Charlotte shrugged. That's it. If time went back to the past, I was still a poor boy. I could only treat you to soy milk, and you wouldn't go. Our story would still end like this. Chi Jingqiu giggled. But that was me in the past. My taste has changed. If you treat me to soy milk now, I will definitely go. Lei, you treat me to a cup of soy milk. Her smile was innocent and sweet. Her plump chest trembled slightly in her laughter, like ripples in a pond. Lei, you treat me to a cup of soy milk. Was there a more ambiguous and obvious hint than this? She probably didn't want a cup of soy milk, but a soy milk machine. Charlotte's heart seemed to be dragged back to his high school days. At that time, he looked forward to getting this woman. Even if it was just holding her little hand and walking for a while, he would be satisfied. She refused him, but now she gave a very obvious hint. As long as he was willing, he could easily get all of her now, and his high school wish would be fulfilled. It would be a lie to say that he was not tempted, but he was not the same person as before. Let's not talk about the past. Take me to the place where you live, Charlotte said. Chi Jingqiu's eyes suddenly flashed with a look of disappointment. She shrugged awkwardly. Okay, come with me. Charlotte followed her to the dormitory area, keeping a distance of 2 steps from her. Along the way, he didn't say a word to her, and Chi Jingqiu didn't take the initiative to talk to him. The two remained silent. There were dormitories for ordinary employees and dormitories for middle-level cadres in the dormitory area. However, Chi Jingqiu took Charlotte to a separate villa. The villa had 2 floors, with a garden in the front and back, and a very wide viewing balcony on the 2nd floor. Standing on the balcony, one could overlook the sea view. What is this place? Charlotte finally broke the silence between the two. Chi Jingqiu rolled her eyes at Charlotte charmingly. I thought you would never talk to me again. Charlotte said with a smile, How can that be? We're classmates, not enemies. Chi Jingqiu said, This is the company's temporary residence for high-level VIPs. Chairman Ning specially asked me to arrange for you to live here. He is very good to you. Charlotte interrupted her words. I can go in by myself. You can go and do your thing. Chi Jingqiu didn't want to leave. Instead, she walked into the villa and said as she walked, That won't do. You are now Chairman Ning's favorite. I have to serve you well, or he won't forgive me. Charlotte cursed inwardly. This was not his home, and he couldn't force her to go in. There was nothing he could do if she wanted to go in. Chapter 34. Sure enough, it was a residence for high-class VIPs. The decorations and furniture in the villa were very high-end. People could feel its luxury everywhere inside. What Xia Lei liked the most was not the exaggerated-looking indoor hot spring pool, but its study. There were hundreds of books in the study, and there were all kinds of books. It's not bad to live here. When I'm not working, I can read the books here. I can learn more, Charlotte thought. Do you like it here? Chi Jingqiu leaned against the door frame of the study. She looked very elegant and lazy. The short skirt of the office lady revealed a pair of long, round legs. With the delicate and smooth stockings, it was very attractive. Charlotte moved his gaze away. It's not bad. I like reading. There are so many books here. It's enough for me to read for a long time. You still like reading so much, Chi Jingqiu said. By the way, I'm very curious. I haven't seen you for a few years. How did you become such a powerful person? Your skills are even better than the senior engineers here. Even my father-in-law admires you very much. That Lu Gong was indeed her father-in-law. Charlotte originally didn't want to pursue the matter of her secretly asking people to tamper with the lathe, but she actually mentioned Lu Gong, who took the blame for her. He felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. Jingqiu, I know you deliberately asked people to lower the precision of the lathe. I also want to know why you did that. No reason. Qi Jingqiu's face didn't show the slightest bit of unnaturalness. I just want to know how outstanding the man who once pursued me is now. I made it a little more difficult for you, a little more difficult, but you received everyone's applause. Speaking of which, you should thank me. You're still so self-righteous. Charlotte said, forget it. It's over. I said I won't pursue it, so I won't pursue it. You should go. I'm going to the workshop after changing clothes. If there's anything I need, I'll call you. You don't have any feelings for me? There was a hint of provocation in Qi Jingqiu's eyes. She left the door frame and stood sideways to Charlotte. Her slender figure and seductive S-shaped curves naturally showed the best parts of her body. It was undeniable that she was indeed a beautiful woman, and her ability to seduce people was also unique. However, she did not know that she was trying so hard to use her seduction technique, but in Xia Lei's eyes, there was no secret at all. Charlotte could clearly see how many moles she had on her body, let alone other things. How could such a temptation have any lethality to Charlotte? After admiring for a while, Charlotte said faintly, "You better not regret it." Xia Lei's words were like a bucket of cold water poured over Qi Jingqiu's head. She was a little embarrassed as she said, "I'm leaving, don't regret it." Xia Lei didn't say anything, but he secretly said in his heart, "I've never regretted what I've done to you in my life." Qi Jingqiu turned around and left in a huff. Charlotte read in the study for a while, and then went to the viewing balcony. He was going to enjoy the sea view in the distance, but the first person he saw was Lu Shuai, who was walking over. "What's this guy doing here?" Charlotte was a little curious. "Master Lei, have you seen Jingqiu?" Lu Shuai entered the front yard and looked up to ask Charlotte. Charlotte said, "She's been gone for a while. You're late. Why don't you call her and you'll know?" Lu Shuai frowned. "I can't get through to her phone." "Forget it, it's the same if I tell her. My dad has already prepared the materials for processing. The tools and equipment you need are also ready. You can start at any time." "Okay, I'll go after changing clothes." Charlotte left the viewing balcony and went to the bedroom to change into the work clothes Qi Jingqiu prepared for him. Lu Shuai didn't leave. He hesitated for a moment and went into the front yard of the villa. "The earlier I finish the order, the earlier I can get the 1 million yuan. With this money, I can do a lot of things, buy better equipment, maybe I can even buy a car." Charlotte walked quickly to the bedroom. His heart was filled with plans, and his face was full of excitement. However, when he opened the bedroom door and saw the scene in the bedroom, the smile on his face suddenly froze on his face. Qi Jingqiu didn't leave, but hid in his bedroom. She was lying on his bed. Her body was covered with the work clothes that he was going to change into, but it wasn't very tight, only covering the important parts. The mysterious scenery on her body was hidden, hazy, and had a different kind of seductive feeling. Her OL clothes, her stockings, and her lace were scattered on the ground. They seemed to be randomly thrown on the ground, but if you looked carefully, it wasn't difficult to find that they were carefully placed. Seeing them, he couldn't help but imagine how they looked on her body and the good places they covered. "Qi Jingqiu, what are you doing?" If it was 5 years ago and Qi Jingqiu was lying on his bed like this, Charlotte would definitely think that he was the happiest man in the world, but now he had a kind of disgust for Qi Jingqiu from the bottom of his heart. Qi Jingqiu gently raised a snow-white arm, waved at Charlotte, and then said in a sweet voice, "Lei, I know you still like me. From the first time I saw you, I knew it from the way you looked at me. Haven't you always wanted me? I'm yours now, and you can do whatever you want. You're already married, why are you still like this?" "Lu Shuai." Qi Jingqiu's voice carried a sense of disgust. "Do you think I will love him? Our marriage is a tragedy, and I live in pain every day. Only you can save me from this sea of suffering. Do you have the heart to see me suffer like this? Although your husband looks a bit ordinary, he treats you well. I can see that. His family is also not bad, and you should be satisfied. Charlotte said. Before you appeared, I was indeed very satisfied, and I should be satisfied. But after you appeared today, I realized that I still love you deeply. I can't lose you again. You're mine, and you're mine for the rest of your life. Chi Jingqiu said very emotionally. Charlotte shook his head. Don't be too serious about what happened in school. Let bygones be bygones, and don't bring it up again. Also, your husband just came here, and he's looking for you. Don't be silly and go home. You're lying to me. That fool will believe whatever I say. He won't come here. Chi Jingqiu lifted the overalls covering her body, got off the bed, and then walked step by step towards Charlotte. I don't believe that you don't love me, and I don't believe that you don't want me. You men are all the same. On the surface you say one thing, but in your heart you think another, and when you act another. Do you dare say that you aren't moved at this moment? Don't you want it? Charlotte retreated from the door. Don't be like this. I'm really not the kind of man you think I am. Don't pretend. I, Chi Jingqiu, have never been unable to get what I want. Chi Jingqiu strode out the door with a pair of jade-like long legs and a charming smile on her face. I don't know what kind of man you are, but I will make you the happiest man. Charlotte retreated to the railing, and there was no way out. He spread out his hands. Your husband is really here, don't be like this. Don't mention that pig-like guy again, I'm disgusted. There's only you and me here, and everything I have is yours. Chi Jingqiu forced herself in front of Charlotte, but her words came to an abrupt halt. A middle-aged fat man stood at the staircase, and he was none other than her husband, Lu Shuai. The atmosphere suddenly became strange, and it was also extremely quiet. The young man who was forced to the railing, the naked long-legged beauty, and the dumbstruck fat man. The three of them were like characters drawn by an artist, forever frozen on the canvas. Hubby. Chi Jingqiu finally couldn't help but speak, but she couldn't even say a complete sentence. Lu Shuai didn't say a word. His pair of small eyes were wide open, and his gaze was very fierce. He didn't look like an obedient husband at all, but more like an angry wild boar that was about to attack. Charlotte shrugged. I told you that your husband is here, but you didn't believe me. He walked around the naked Chi Jingqiu, walked into the bedroom, picked up Chi Jingqiu's work clothes that had fallen to the floor, and then walked downstairs. Chi Jingqiu was still looking at Lu Shuai, not saying a word. But just as Charlotte walked past her, Lu Shuai suddenly reached out and blocked Charlotte's way. You can't go. Charlotte looked at him. What are you trying to do? I didn't take off your wife's clothes, I didn't even touch her fingers. If you have any questions, go ask your wife, don't bother me. Lu Shuai raised his fist. Charlotte lightly said, if you want to fight, I can accompany you, but you have to find 2 helpers. If it's just you, you'll be miserable. You. Lu Shuai slowly put down his fist. I'm going to the workshop, see you 2 later. Don't quarrel, if you have something to say, talk it out. Charlotte left after saying this. Chi Jingqiu suddenly roared like a madman. Charlotte, you bastard! Charlotte didn't look back, just gave a middle finger. Chi Jingqiu seemed to have lost all her strength, and suddenly sat down on the ground. Sitting down, all her secrets were revealed, but she didn't care. A woman like her would never love anyone, let alone Xia Lei, whom she had only met after 5 years. She only did this because of her competitive heart. Charlotte ignored her, but she wanted Charlotte to submit to her. Lu Shuai looked at her, her body made his throat a little dry. He was silent for a long time before saying, He didn't touch you, right? He did. He touched all the places on my body that he could touch. Chi Jingqiu said disdainfully, he even touched the places you didn't touch. You. Lu Shuai couldn't suppress his anger. Chi Jingqiu looked up at him, hit me. Lu Shuai shook his head. Chi Jingqiu said again, scold me. Lu Shuai shook his head again. Chi Jingqiu roared at Lu Shuai, are you still a man? How could I, Chi Jingqiu, marry a man like you? Lu Shuai was silent again, not saying a word. In the front yard of the villa, Charlotte thought to himself, although Lu Shuai is a little ugly and a little older, he's still a good man. She should be satisfied. However, a woman like her, even if she married the best man, she probably wouldn't be satisfied, right? Sigh, this Lu Shuai is actually quite pitiful. I don't know how many times he's been cuckolded. The villa was getting farther and farther behind him, and the woman he once had a crush on in the villa was completely forgotten by Charlotte. He didn't even want to think about it. He strode to the workshop. That was where he could display his talent. Chapter 35. With the materials and equipment, Charlotte's processing speed was very fast. He estimated that he would be able to complete this order in less than half a month. Qi Jingqiu didn't bother him anymore. After all, she was a respectable woman. No matter how despicable she was, she wouldn't go so far as to pester him. Charlotte didn't care about anything related to her anymore. Other than processing precision machined parts, he locked himself in the study of the villa and read books. He read all kinds of books, including precision machining, precision welding technology, electrical engineering, mechanical design, foreign languages, business management, capital operation, and so on. He was like a sponge, greedily absorbing the nourishment of knowledge. Every minute he spent in Dongfang heavy industry was fulfilling. However, the progress of completing the order and the knowledge were not his biggest gains these days. His biggest gain was that after using the ability of his left eye frequently, he became more and more proficient in using the ability of his left eye, almost to the extent that he could control it at will. His control was also getting more and more accurate. He could minimize the side effects of overusing the ability of his left eye, which was weakness and hallucinations. A very simple example was that when he was processing precision machined parts, he would frequently use the microvision ability of his left eye, which could easily cause the side effects of overusing the ability of his left eye. However, after he became more proficient in controlling it, his left eye would turn off this ability when he didn't need to stare at the precision machined parts, allowing him to rest. In the past, he needed to deliberately control it, but now it had become a habit, a kind of proficient awareness. It was as natural as breathing, and there was no need to deliberately control it. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. Not bad, Xiaolei. You completed 2/3 of the progress in these 10 days. What's more valuable is that you didn't report any useless parts. You saved a lot of materials. This is the first time I've seen such craftsmanship. Talent. With a talent like you in our country, we won't have to worry about our dream of becoming a powerful country. Ha! In the workshop, Ning Yuanshan was very happy, and his laughter was also very loud. Charlotte wiped his sweat with a towel and said with a smile, "Uncle Ning, I'm not a talent. I just know how to do a little craftsmanship." Modest. You're so amazing, but you're still so modest. Rare. How about you don't go back to your studio? Come to my place. I'll give you a workshop for you to manage. The annual salary is 2 million, okay? Ning Yuanshan looked at Charlotte with eyes full of expectation. A month ago, Charlotte's monthly salary was only 3,000, and he might not even get it all. But now, someone offered him an annual salary of 2 million. Life was really unpredictable. If it was a month ago, let alone 2 million yuan, even if it was 100,000 yuan, Xiaolei would still agree to it. But now, 2 million yuan was only attractive to him to a certain extent, but it was not enough to make him agree. Uncle Ning, thank you. You see, I'm used to being free and undisciplined. I'm not suitable to work in a company. I'd better work in my studio. It may make less money, but I like the freedom there. Xiaolei politely declined Ning Yuanshan's kindness. Ning Yuanshan looked slightly disappointed. I know you want to make a name for yourself. It's really unfair for a talent like you to work at my company. That's fine, you can do whatever you want. But, if I have any problems, you have to come and help me. Charlotte smiled. Of course. Don't worry, Uncle Yuanshan. Little Lei, come to my house for dinner. I'll call Peaceful over. You haven't seen each other in 10 days. She must miss you, Ning Yuanshan said. Charlotte had a headache and said, I don't think I should go. I'll be distracted if I see her. I'll be done in a few days, so it doesn't matter if I see her later. Ning Yuanshan smiled again. Career is the most important. You can even resist the magic of love. You have a future. Charlotte was embarrassed by the compliment. He thought it was lucky that Ning Yuanshan was not Peaceful's father. Otherwise, it would have been even more exaggerated. However, looking at Xia Lei from Ning Yuanshan's point of view, a young man like Xia Lei was handsome and sunny, extremely capable, dedicated to his career, steady, and he also had the condition that both his parents had died. How could he not like such a future son-in-law of the Ning family? It wasn't just Ning Yuanshan. Perhaps even Peaceful's father would like him. But they did not know that Charlotte and Peaceful were not actually lovers. One old and one young, the two of them chatted and laughed as they left the workshop. Charlotte walked with Ning Yuanshan for a while. Then, they went to the dormitory. Ning Yuanshan went to the garage. Back in the villa, Charlotte took off his clothes and jumped into the indoor hot spring pool. He washed off the oil on his body and enjoyed the massage of the water. Every day, when he finished work, he would soak in the hot spring. It was the most relaxing time of the day. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of high heels rubbing against the ground suddenly came from behind him. The footsteps made Charlotte frown. Qi Jingqiu, are you done? Do you believe that I won't call Director Ning right now and ask him to come talk to you? Tap, tap, tap. The footsteps did not stop. Instead, they sped up and came toward him. You! Charlotte turned his head to look and froze. It was not Qi Jingqiu who was walking toward him. It was Long Bing. She wore a long black dress and black high heels. She had a cold, beautiful face. Her appearance seemed to bring with it a natural chill. The temperature in the room dropped by a few degrees. Charlotte quickly came back to his senses. He quickly turned around and shrunk his body into the pool. He was worried that the water was transparent, so he covered the most important parts of his body. In any case, Long Bing's appearance made him panic and feel awkward. Long Bing walked around the indoor hot spring pool and walked in front of Charlotte. She slowly sat down on a chair and stared at Charlotte. I am going back to Jingdu. Before I leave, I came to see you. Charlotte was speechless. He awkwardly said, I was taking a shower. Can't you pick another time? I know you are taking a shower, but that doesn't bother me, Long Bing said. Charlotte did not know how to get along with her. When she appeared, he felt uncomfortable. Although I have always thought that you were not simple, you still surprised me this time. The precision parts you processed for Dongfang heavy industry need to be imported from abroad. Without advanced foreign equipment, it is impossible to process them. But you actually did it by hand. I am becoming more and more curious about you. Can you tell me how you did it? Charlotte said, You shouldn't know. It's better if you don't ask. Long Bing was slightly stunned. She suddenly remembered that this was what she said to Charlotte after she knocked out Long Bing at the Archaeology Bureau. She did not expect Charlotte to say the same thing to her at this time. Yes, she did not tell him anything. Why should he tell her? Did you come to ask me this? Charlotte asked. Long Bing opened her handbag, took out a check from it, and put it on the tile beside the pool. Charlotte's left eye moved slightly. The check, which was at least 3 meters away, seemed to be placed in front of him, and the content on it was also clearly seen. It was a check for 50,000 yuan. Although he clearly saw the content on the check, he still pretended not to know. What's that? Long Bing said, This is 50,000 yuan. It's your reward. I know the Archaeology Bureau did not pay you this money. Charlotte said, You took away the compass. They are angry, but they can't do anything to you. Naturally, they will vent their anger on me. They will definitely not give me the money. However, I can't take your money. You can take it. Long Bing said, I didn't give you the money. It's paid by the government. If you don't want it, I will take it. Then I will accept it. Thank you. Charlotte smiled. It would be a waste not to take the financial payment, not to mention that he deserved it. Long Bing said, after my observation during this time, I think you are a good person, and your ability is relatively strong. Are you interested in working with me? Why would I work with you? I can't tell you now. Long Bing said, if you agree, you will be sent to a secret place for training. After passing the assessment, you will naturally know what to do. Charlotte looked at Long Bing. You are a special agent, and a very special agent, aren't you? Long Bing did not say yes or no. She just quietly looked at Charlotte, observed him, and waited for his answer. Xia Lei thought for a moment, then shook his head. I'm just a commoner. I still have a younger sister to take care of. I'm not used to a life of gunfire. So, I appreciate your kindness. I am fine now, and I don't want to change. Long Bing said, a good man should serve the country. You are very capable. After training, you will become a very powerful person. Why don't you want to serve the country? Xia Lei laughed. I don't agree with what you said. There are many ways to serve the country. Farmers farm and produce food and cotton. This is to serve the country. Workers produce and build, which is also to serve the country. I am also contributing to the construction of this country. Isn't this to serve the country? Long Bing frowned slightly. I can't argue with you, but I will wait for you. I believe that one day you will understand this truth. Charlotte did not respond, but he did not think that such a day would come. Long Bing stood up from the chair. I have stayed long enough. It's time for me to go. I know your sister is going back to the capital to study. Ask her to call me when she arrives. I will take care of her. Thank you. I will tell her. Perhaps because he was too grateful and excited, Charlotte forgot that he was soaking naked in the pool. When Long Bing stood up and was about to leave, he hurriedly got up to send her off out of courtesy. However, when he stood up from the water with a splash, he reacted and hurriedly squatted down again, covering that place tightly. At that moment, Long Bing's face suddenly blushed. This was a very rare phenomenon. At least, it was the first time that Charlotte had seen her blush. However, that was all. Long Bing quickly returned to normal. She said lightly, there is nothing to cover. I saw it. It is very ugly. Charlotte was speechless. Goodbye. Long Bing turned around and left without looking back. Charlotte let go of his hand and looked at something in the water. He said to himself, did she really see you? Are you really ugly? Then, he stood up from the water. He was not interested in continuing to soak. However, at that moment, Long Bing suddenly turned around and went back. Ah! Charlotte screamed and then squatted down again, covering his important part. He said nervously, what are you trying to do? I am not interested in watching you bathe. Being stared at by her and saying such words, Charlotte was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. I forgot something. Long Bing walked to the edge of the pool. She opened her handbag and placed a black leather wallet on the tile. She said, this is my gift to you. Your driver's license. Charlotte was stunned. Don't I have to go to driving school to get a driver's license? I go to driving school, Long Bing said. Charlotte suddenly smiled. Long Bing could make Jiang Rui the bureau chief. Compared to this, giving him a driver's license was really a small matter. And asking such a question to Long Bing was really unnecessary. Go buy a car. It will be more convenient for us to meet in the future. Charlotte smiled bitterly. I knew you would not give me benefits for free. Without saying anything else, Long Bing turned around and left. This time, Charlotte carefully climbed out of the pool until he could not see her. Then, he wrapped his body tightly with a bath towel. Chapter 36. 5 days later. In the workshop, Charlotte was immersed in his work. In a box next to the manual lathe, there were several precision machining parts that had been processed. After a while, he would be done, because this was the last precision machining part in his hand. Once it was done, he would get 1,000,000 yuan of wages. With this 1,000,000 yuan, Thunder Horse Studio will have the funds to upgrade, buy equipment and hire skilled workers. I don't need to stay in Thunder Horse Studio to do low-profit work. With my current skills, I should be the face of Thunder Horse Studio, only taking difficult jobs or jobs that others can't do. In this way, not only can I make more money, but I also have time to do other things. While working, Charlotte planned the future in his mind. This 1,000,000 yuan gave him an inspiration. With his ability, he really didn't need to do those crude and low-profit jobs. With his ability, if he wanted to do something, he had to be able to afford it like this time. Indeed, if Charlotte squatted on the street with welding pliers to mend an iron pot, what kind of master demeanor would he have? If a customer came to talk to him about a precision machining business worth tens of millions of yuan, but happened to see him mend an iron pot, the customer wouldn't talk to him. A series of footsteps came from behind, interrupting Charlotte's thoughts. He put down the work in his hand, looked back, and saw Ning Yuanshan and Qi Jingqiu enter the workshop with a group of people. Ning Yuanshan was talking to a young woman, and Qi Jingqiu looked very nervous next to her. Behind the woman were 4 young men in suit. The 4 men had cold expressions, and their bodies were very strong. They were always observing the surrounding environment as they walked. These characteristics could only be found in professional bodyguard. Charlotte's eyes stopped on the woman, and at that moment, his soul seemed to be hooked away. The woman who was surrounded by people had a pair of dark and beautiful eyes. Her eyes seemed to be soaked with clear spring water, giving people a feeling of wisdom, clarity, and brightness. Her lips were small and tender, and the natural light red color was like the most delicate rose petals. Her figure was also extremely good. She had a perfect 8-headed body and was full of curve. Every part of her body was impeccable, especially her pair of long and slender legs, which were fair, tender, and slightly translucent, as if they were meticulously carved out of the finest materials of nature. There were no flaws at all, and they could be said to be perfect. Her temperament was also very special. She was like a jade lotus that had bloomed in an ancient palace. She was as pure as ice and as clean as jade, and the entire solemn palace was just a foil to her. Qi Jingqiu could also be considered an eye-catching beauty, but beside this woman, she suddenly seemed tacky and dull. There was no such thing as the most beautiful woman in the world, but Charlotte felt that this woman, whose name he didn't even know, was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen in his life. He was immediately attracted, and his heart palpitated. "Miss Shin Tu, this way please." Ning Yuanshan seemed very polite as he led the way. "Who is this woman? Are you here to watch me process the parts?" Charlotte was very curious. Ning Yuanshan led the woman past Charlotte, and then continued to walk into the depths of the workshop. The woman, who was surrounded by people, didn't even look at Charlotte. Charlotte thought that she was here to watch him process the parts, but she didn't even look at him, and walked past him. To her, his existence was like a street vendor. Looking at the woman's fading back, Charlotte's mouth curled into a bitter smile. Too beautiful, but also too arrogant. I don't know what kind of man can pursue a woman like her. Qi Jingqiu slowed down and waited until Ning Yuanshan and the woman were a distance away before she walked to Charlotte's side. "Don't look. It's useless to look at her for a lifetime." Only then did Charlotte withdraw his gaze from the woman's back. He looked at Qi Jingqiu and said with a smile, "If you were as beautiful as she is, I would also look at you like that." Qi Jingqiu didn't look angry at all. "Don't use this to anger me. I, Qi Jingqiu, know myself. Do you know who she is?" "Who is she?" "The Shin Tu family's female sect leader, Shin Tu Tianin." "Shin Tu family?" Charlotte shook his head. I don't know. You are still lacking in knowledge. Qi Jingqiu's mouth curled into a contemptuous smile. Let me give you some information. It can be considered as a way to broaden your knowledge. The Shen Tu family clan is the biggest family clan in the eastern region. The Shen Tu family clan controls the Wanxiang Corporation, which is involved in real estate, energy, home appliances, technology, and has assets in the tens of billions. Tell me, what's the point of a man like you looking at such a woman? There's no chance. You should be more realistic and stop having wishful thinking. Charlotte smiled. Don't use this to anger me. No matter how bad a man like me is, I'm still better than your man. You. Qi Jingqiu was immediately infuriated. Alright, let's not bicker. After all, we are classmates. Charlotte eased the atmosphere. Right, what is Shintu Tianyin doing here? Qi Jingqiu was still angry with Charlotte, but her tone softened. She is representing the Wanxiang Corporation to inspect our company. The Wanxiang Corporation wants to build a wind power station and needs a large amount of wind power equipment. We can manufacture this equipment. She is the god of wealth. Didn't you see Director Ning serving her like a queen? So that's the case. Director Ning must be trying to get the Wanxiang Corporation's order. Charlotte said. Qi Jingqiu sighed. Hi, different people have different fates. They are both women, but their fates are so different. Lazy, tell me, isn't God being unfair? Don't think too much. Be content. Qi Jingqiu shook her head. If I could live like Shintu Tianyin, I would be willing to live 20 years less. Living like this, half dead, half alive, and facing that good-for-nothing every day, I'm going crazy. Hurry up and follow her. Otherwise, you will be scolded. Charlotte didn't want to talk about this topic with her. Qi Jingqiu looked disdainful. I don't care. I actually want to talk business with you. Do you want to make money? Charlotte said. Who doesn't want to make money? Let's hear it. Qi Jingqiu said. You have skills and a studio. I have connections. I have a way. If we cooperate, we will definitely make money. What do you mean? I will pull the order for you and you will give me a commission. Charlotte was a little moved. Qi Jingqiu worked in a large state-owned enterprise like Dongfang Heavy Industry. She was the secretary of the chairman. Her husband and father-in-law were also important figures in this enterprise. Her connections were certainly not bad. The orders she could pull were certainly not small orders of a few thousand yuan. However, although his heart was moved, he still calmly said, How much commission do you want? Qi Jingqiu said, 15%. Charlotte laughed and said, You are really asking for a lion's share. You don't have to do anything. You just need to talk and you want 15%. I provide people, equipment, and materials. I'm afraid I won't earn as much as you, right? Then how much will you give? Qi Jingqiu stared at Charlotte. Charlotte stretched out a palm. 5%. That's too little. 10%. 8%. If you want to do it, then do it. If not, then leave. Deal. Qi Jingqiu stretched out a hand to Charlotte. Charlotte hesitated for a moment and then stretched out his hand to shake her hand. Her little hand was warm and soft, giving him a little excitement. Wait for my news. Qi Jingqiu pulled her hand away and quickly chased after the team that was walking away. Looking at her swaying butt, Charlotte thought, 8% is 8%. If you introduce someone, then I will get to know that person. Once I establish my own network, I won't need to give you commission. What first love, what old classmate, all of that no longer existed. In Charlotte's eyes, there was only business. Ning Yuanshan brought Shintu Tianyin and the others far away. Charlotte also gathered his thoughts and got to work. However, standing in front of the lathe, holding the control stick, his mind kept thinking of Shintu Tianyin. He also had a strange feeling in his heart. It was as if his 3 souls and 7 spirits had lost a part. The Shintu family's women are worth tens of billions. What am I doing? Qi Jingqiu, that slut, was right. It's useless to think about it. I should just work honestly. I will take this 1 million first, then use this 1 million to buy new equipment, recruit people, and then cooperate with Chi Jingqiu. Charlotte quickly thought it through, and his mood also calmed down. His eyes were locked on the last piece of work. Then, he slowly put down the lathe knife and started to work. 10 minutes later, the last piece of work was completed. Charlotte put it into the box, tidied it up, and then called Ning Yuanshan. Uncle Ning, I'm sorry. I know you have an important guest, but I still want to call you to tell you. When the phone was connected, Charlotte went straight to the point. I have finished. The last few pieces are next to the lathe. Send someone to pick them up. And not bad, not bad. I will send someone to pick them up immediately. You have helped me a lot this time. Ning Yuanshan said with a smile. I have already prepared the check. I will ask someone from the finance department to send it to you. Thank you, Uncle Ning. Continue with your work. Goodbye. Charlotte hung up the phone. After ending the call with Ning Yuanshan, a few minutes later, someone came to pick up the last batch of precision machined parts. Charlotte watched them finish the inspection, and after confirming that there were no problems, he left the workshop. Not far away, someone from the finance department of Dongfang Heavy Industry sent a check for 1 million yuan. Ning Yuanshan was really a swift and decisive person. He did things without any sloppiness. The check was so light that it was almost weightless, but Charlotte felt that it weighed dozens of pounds. It was very heavy. His face was also full of smiles. This was the biggest money he had ever made in his life. The work was done, the inspection was done, and the money was in his hand. Charlotte didn't need to go to the villa anymore. He walked directly to the gate of Dongfang Heavy Industry. When passing by the parking lot, Charlotte saw a limited edition Rolls-Royce Phantom. It was dignified and grand, like the emperor of cars. This car must be Shintu Tianin's car. Only a woman of her level can afford such a car. Charlotte also wanted to buy a car. This desire became stronger after Long Bing gave him a driver's license. However, he didn't even dare to think about buying a Rolls-Royce Phantom. At this time, a female worker in Dongfang Heavy Industries uniform pushed a cart into the parking lot from the side entrance. She was pushing a cleaning cart. As she walked, she used a pair of iron tongs to pick up the garbage on the ground and put it into a plastic bucket on the cart. Perhaps it was because of the Rolls-Royce Phantom, its existence made the female worker seem very humble. Charlotte couldn't help but look at the female worker again. The female worker looked very young. Her butt was perky, and her chest was bulging. She looked very sexy. Charlotte was a little curious. Most of the cleaning work is done by aunties. She is so young and sexy. How can she do this kind of rough work? Chapter 37. Perhaps it was because of the curiosity in his heart, Charlotte's left eye twitched slightly. The woman pushing the cleaning cart seemed to have crossed a distance of 20 to 30 meters in an instant and appeared in front of him. Everything about her became clear. Charlotte saw her pair of hands. It was a pair of white and tender hands without any calluses on them. She also wore a watch with complex functions on her wrist. The workmanship and materials used were very exquisite. It was obviously an expensive outdoor watch. Charlotte became even more curious. It's not normal for a cleaner to wear such an expensive watch. The cleaner did not notice that a young man was looking at her curiously from a distance. She pushed the cart towards the Rolls-Royce Phantom. A thought suddenly emerged in Charlotte's mind. It was also because of this thought that the cleaner instantly lost her clothes and was naked under the sun. The woman's skin was even whiter and more tender. A black object was very eye-catching under her white and delicate skin. It was a pistol hidden at her waist. Charlotte's gaze moved to the plastic bucket. There was also something hidden in the bucket. It was an explosive device that was tied together by several detonators. There was also a mobile phone wrapped with tape. The mobile phone and the detonators were connected together by wires. Seeing the gun and the bomb, Charlotte's heart suddenly became clear. This woman was not a cleaner from Dongfeng Heavy Industry, but a killer. She rushed towards the Rolls-Royce Phantom. Her target was also very obvious, Shintu Tianyin. Charlotte withdrew his gaze and turned to walk towards the workshop. The woman turned her head to look at Charlotte. It was just a glance. She did not find anything suspicious about Charlotte. After all, she thought that she had hidden it well. It was impossible for Charlotte to find out what secrets she was hiding from a distance. She pushed the cart to the side of the Rolls-Royce Phantom. Then, she used a clip to clamp the bomb out of the plastic bucket. She then squatted down and pretended to pick up the garbage. This scene did not escape Charlotte's eyes. His feet moved even faster. A few minutes later, he found Ning Yuanshan and Shintu Tianyin in the workshop. Our company is a large state-owned enterprise. There is no problem with our strength and credibility. Miss Shintu, you can rest assured. I dare to guarantee that as long as you choose us, your wind power station will definitely rise from the ground and bring huge profits to your Wanxiang group. Ning Yuanshan said after Shintu Tianyin finished touring the workshop. He had a smile on his face and looked very amiable. Shintu Tianyin lightly said, Director Ning, I have nothing to say about the scale and strength of your company. However, I heard that because your company is currently facing export restrictions in Europe and the United States, a very important project cannot be carried out. Is that true? Charlotte, who was about to step forward, stopped in his tracks. He thought to himself, isn't she talking about the batch of precision machining parts that I worked on? Even I don't know what those precision machining parts will be used in the project. But from her tone, she seems to be very clear about it. She's really well informed. But what does she mean by bringing it up at this time? At this side, Ning Yuanshan laughed. Miss Shintu is really well informed. At present, Europe and the United States have indeed implemented a stricter technology blockade policy against our country, which has also affected us to a certain extent. However, is there no one in China who can solve this problem? To tell you the truth, Miss Shintu, the problem has been solved. Shintu Tianyin didn't believe it. As far as I know, there is no relevant equipment and technical personnel in China. How did you solve the problem? Our company has a very powerful engineer. He's very young, but he's definitely a very outstanding talent. He solved our problem, said Ning Yuanshan. See, I just asked the finance department to give him a 1 million bonus. So that's how it is. Your company is really full of talent. Shintu Tianyin's mouth showed a smile, looking satisfied. This smile made Charlotte slightly stunned. He originally wanted to walk away, but Ning Yuanshan's words made him a little hesitant. He helped Dongfeng Heavy Industry solve the problem, but Ning Yuanshan said that it was the engineer of Dongfeng Heavy Industry who solved the problem. He didn't mention Charlotte's name. Ning Yuanshan did this to show the strength of Dongfeng Heavy Industry in front of Shintu Tianyin and win a big order from the Wanxiang group. Shintu Tianyin was also testing the strength of Dongfeng Heavy Industry, so he used this matter to test Ning Yuanshan. Charlotte secretly said in his heart, anyway, Shintu Tianyin is still here, and there is no danger for the time being. I'll follow him and find a chance to tell him about the parking lot. If I appear at this juncture and ruin Uncle Ning's plan, it won't be good. After making up his mind, Charlotte didn't just stand there and wait. He took out his mobile phone and sent a text message to Jiang Rui. I'm at Dongfeng Heavy Industry. I found that someone put a bomb in the parking lot. It's urgent. Come quickly. At this time, Shintu Tianyin said, originally, our company also contacted a German manufacturing company. They also provided 2 sets of plans, and each set of plans is excellent. So, Director Ning, I'll go back and have a meeting. We'll discuss it, and then I'll tell you our decision. No problem. Ning Yuanshan said, however, Miss Shintu, I just want to say one thing. I'm not praising how strong our company is. It's even stronger than the German company. I just want to remind you that although the German plan is good, their price is definitely much higher than our plan. It's not like you don't know how expensive German labor is. If you adopt the German company's plan, the future equipment maintenance, repair, and replacement will cost a lot of money, and your profit point will be pulled down. Of course, I won't interfere with your decision. I just want you to think more about your wind power station after it is completed and put into operation. Here, I promise you that we will not only provide first-class equipment, but also provide perfect post-production services. Shinto Tianyin smiled slightly. Then, she reached out and shook hands with Ning Yuanshan, saying, "Thank you for your opinion. I'll seriously consider it. That's all for today. I'll contact you after I get the result. Goodbye." "Take care, Miss Shinto," Ning Yuanshan said very politely. The conversation between the two sides ended here. Shinto Tianyin turned around and left with the 4 stern-looking bodyguards. This time, Shinto Tianyin finally noticed Charlotte, who was standing not far away. She glanced at Charlotte faintly, but her eyes only stayed on Charlotte for almost a second. Ning Yuanshan also saw Charlotte, and his expression became slightly nervous. Charlotte knew very well why Ning Yuanshan had such a reaction. It was because Ning Yuanshan had just lied to Shinto Tianyin, and his appearance was likely to break the lie. Seeing Charlotte, Ning Yuanshan didn't even go to see Shinto Tianyin off. He followed Charlotte and said in a low voice, "Xiaolei, why are you here? I have a very important thing to tell Shinto." Before Charlotte finished speaking, Ning Yuanshan grabbed Charlotte's hand and said nervously, "Do you want to tell him that you helped us solve the problem? You can't go." Charlotte smiled bitterly and said, "Uncle Ning, what kind of person do you think I am? Am I that kind of person? It's not what you think at all." "Well, I don't have time. I have to tell him quickly, otherwise someone will die." Ning Yuanshan was about to ask again, but Charlotte had already broken free from his hand and chased after Shinto Tianyin and the others. "Hello?" Ning Yuanshan wanted to stop Charlotte, but he didn't dare to raise his voice. He looked very nervous. Qi Jingqiu said in a strange tone, "Director Ning, it's hard to know a man's heart. You take care of him so much, but he wants to expose your lies just to get to know Shinto Tianyin. This is very bad for our company." Ning Yuanshan said, "What are you talking about? Xiaolei is not that kind of person. He just said that it's not that kind of thing." "Director Ning, you still trust him so much. I'm his classmate, and I know him better than you. He's just a despicable person who wants to climb up," Qi Jingqiu said. Ning Yuanshan became even more nervous after hearing her words. He watched Charlotte approach Shinto Tianyin and the others. At this time, it was already too late to stop Charlotte. Charlotte caught up with Shinto Tianyin and her bodyguards. Just as he was about to speak, his phone's ringtone suddenly rang. He slid open the screen lock and sure enough, it was a text message from Jiang Rui. But when he saw the content of the text message, he almost fainted. Jiang Rui's text message: "Is it a double king or 4 twos? If you mess with me again, I'll crush you to death." If Jiang Rui was in front of him, Charlotte would really kick her butt. "Stop!" A bodyguard suddenly turned around and blocked Charlotte's way. He looked at Charlotte with vigilance in his eyes and looked very fierce. The other 3 bodyguards also turned to look at Xiaolei, as well as Shinto Tianyin. Her brows were already furrowed, and her face was frosty. Charlotte said, "Miss Shinto, I have a very important thing to tell you. I don't mean anything else, nor do I have any malicious intent. Get out." The bodyguard who blocked the way shouted rudely at Charlotte and also showed signs of fighting. Charlotte came to warn her of danger out of goodwill, but was scolded by her bodyguard. He suddenly became angry in his heart. "What are you shouting for? Do you know what I'm going to say? I've seen a lot of guys like you. If you don't leave, don't blame me for being rude." The bodyguard was really going to fight. "Wait," Shinto Tianyin said lightly, What do you want to say? Charlotte said, The Rolls-Royce Phantom in the parking lot is yours, right? Shintu Tianyin nodded slightly. Charlotte said, When I passed by the parking lot just now, I saw a woman approaching your car. She had a gun and a bomb on her. I'm afraid she has already installed the bomb at this moment. Do as you see fit. Shintu Tianyin stared straight at Charlotte and asked, Who are you? Charlotte said, Don't worry about that. I'm done. You're on your own. After a pause, he added, Also, take good care of your men. Not everyone wants to know you. They should also have the most basic manners. After that, Charlotte turned around and left. Shintu Tianyin was slightly stunned. Her eyes did not leave Charlotte's back, but it was a little different from before. Miss, what should we do? A bodyguard asked. A cold smile appeared on the corner of Shintu Tianyin's mouth. They really can't hold back and are ready to make a move. Go and have a look. Yes. A bodyguard followed her to the parking lot outside the door of the workshop. In the parking lot, the cleaning woman had disappeared. It looked very quiet. Chapter 38. Shintu Tianyin's bodyguard went straight to the Rolls-Royce Phantom. His speed was not fast, and he looked very nervous. There was definitely no problem with the loyalty of someone who could be brought along by Shintu Tianyin. However, this time, he was facing a remote-controlled bomb, and he could be blown to pieces at any time. Even a professional bodyguard could not help but feel nervous and afraid. Just as the bodyguard was walking to the parking lot, Charlotte had already seen the situation of the Rolls-Royce Phantom clearly. With his left eye, the distance was not a problem, and the car was not a problem. Although he did not see the woman, he saw something that the woman had stuck to the chassis of the car. Don't go over there. Charlotte warned loudly, The bomb is under the car. You will be killed. The bodyguard suddenly stopped and looked back at Charlotte. He also glanced at Shintu Tianyin, who had just walked out of the workshop, out of the corner of his eye. He seemed to want to get instructions from Shintu Tianyin, but Shintu Tianyin just stood there, expressionless. The bodyguard just glanced at him, and then continued to walk to the Rolls-Royce Phantom. Shintu Tianyin gave him instructions without any instructions. Not to mention that there was a bomb in front of him. Even if there was an erupting volcano in front of him, he would still jump down. Charlotte said, You know there is a bomb, but you still want to go? This time, the bodyguard did not even look back. Ning Yuanshan strode to Charlotte's side and said nervously, Xiaolei, what's going on? What bomb? Where is the bomb? Charlotte said, There is really a bomb under the Rolls-Royce. How is that possible? Ning Yuanshan could not believe it. Qi Jingqiu said, Charlotte, are you kidding? In this world, who would be so bold as to put a bomb in Miss Shintu's car in broad daylight? Don't you think it's an alarmist? Charlotte glanced at her. If you think I'm just trying to scare you, then go ahead and replace that bodyguard. You can check the car or you can remove the bomb. Qi Jingqiu originally wanted to say that she would go, but then she changed her mind. I'm not going. Charlotte glared at her. Then what are you doing here? However, Qi Jingqiu did not look angry at all. She said in a low voice, Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. Don't you just want to get to know Shintu Tianyin? I want to cause destruction. Charlotte was no longer interested in talking to her. He shifted his gaze to the parking lot. The bag had already walked to the side of the Rolls-Royce Phantom. He carefully lay down. Charlotte was so nervous that his heart almost jumped to his throat. He glanced at Shintu Tianyin out of the corner of his eye. Shintu Tianyin's face still did not look nervous at all. She looked very calm. It was as if the person who had eliminated the danger for her was not a person, but a bomb disposal robot. She is so young, but her heart is already so strong. This is not normal, right? Also, does she still have feelings in her heart? Charlotte thought quietly in his heart. At this time, the bodyguard removed the bomb from the chassis of the Rolls-Royce Phantom, then held it with both hands and carefully came to the open space. At this time, if the woman who installed the bomb dialed the mobile phone number on the bomb, he would be blown to pieces. Really, there is a bomb? Qi Jingqiu was shocked. She was not in the range of the explosion, but she still quickly retreated a lot of distance. Ning Yuanshan was so shocked that he could not speak. He was very timid, so he also retreated behind a pillar in a panic. The three bodyguards beside Shintu Tianin stood in front of Shintu Tianin, forming a human wall. The only ones who did not move were Charlotte and Shintu Tianin. Shintu Tianin looked at Charlotte with a special look in his eyes. "Aren't you afraid?" Charlotte thought to himself, "You are a person with tens of billions of yuan, and you are not afraid. Why would I be afraid?" Thinking this in his heart, he said, "I think you should be more concerned about your bodyguard. Are you going to let him carry that bomb like this?" Shintu Tianin said indifferently, "Do you think the person who wants to kill me will kill my bodyguard in this situation?" Xia Lei was stunned for a moment. That woman's target was Shintu Tianin. Now that Shintu Tianin had discovered the bomb she had installed, her operation had actually failed. If she detonated the bomb and killed one of Shintu Tianin's bodyguards, then this assassination would not only not hurt Shintu Tianin, but it would also benefit Shintu Tianin. He suddenly understood why Shintu Tianin was so composed, and a wisp of a bitter smile couldn't help but suffuse the corners of Xia Lei's mouth. He was worried about her and her bodyguard, but the other party had already figured out the killer's intentions and had a well-thought-out plan. With such intelligence and control, why would he need to worry about her? In the parking lot, the bodyguard finally put the bomb on the ground. Shintu Tianin gently waved his hand, and the bodyguard quickly left the parking lot. Shintu Tianin looked at Charlotte. "What does that woman look like?" "A very young woman." Xia Lei briefly described the woman's appearance, height, and other characteristics. "Thank you." Shintu Tianin looked at Charlotte. "What's your name? I'll get someone to pay you." Charlotte had wanted to say his name, but when he heard Shintu Tianin's last sentence, he suddenly felt insulted. He sneered. "Well, if you really want to give me money, you can donate 1 million to a nursing home." Shintu Tianin said indifferently, "You will receive a receipt for the donation." Charlotte was stunned on the spot. He had said it casually, but he didn't expect Shintu Tianin to answer him like this. He looked at Shintu Tianin, but Shintu Tianin was no longer looking at him. Charlotte didn't want to say anything. He felt a little uncomfortable. Ning Yuanshan finally overcame his fear. He came to Charlotte's side. "Master Lei, there really was a bomb. How did you see it?" Charlotte said, "It was just a coincidence. It's all right now. Uncle Ning, I'm leaving. Call the police and let them deal with it." Ning Yuanshan came to his senses and quickly took out his mobile phone to call the police. Charlotte walked in the direction of the gate without looking back. After calling the police would deal with it. He had also told Shintu Tianin about the woman's appearance. The police would deal with the follow-up. It was useless for him to stay. However, he didn't know that when he left, Shintu Tianin's eyes were fixed on his back. When he walked out of the gate, Charlotte received a text message from Qi Jingqiu, "Don't forget our deal. I will bring you a considerable order within a week." Seeing this text message, Charlotte's first reaction was a little disgusted. He thought of Qi Jingqiu's sarcasm just now. He also wanted to refuse, but in the blink of an eye, he gave a short answer, "Okay." Business was business. Qi Jingqiu could bring big orders and big clients that he couldn't get to know. This was a great boost to his career. Why should he refuse because of a little disgust? That was not a wise thing to do. The United States and China had a war, but weren't they still the biggest trading partners now? There were no taxis in the suburbs of Dongfang heavy industry. Charlotte walked along the special road in the direction of the port. 10 minutes later, he didn't see a taxi, but he saw a long line of police cars. Several police cars in front of him drove quickly with their lights on, but the last police car suddenly braked and stopped beside Charlotte. Charlotte saw Jiang Rui sitting in the driver's seat at a glance. He said with a smile, "What's wrong, Chief Jiang? Are you leading a team to play landlord?" "You." Jiang Rui got out of the car and gave Charlotte a punch. She said fiercely, "Don't you know how to be more specific? I don't even dare to mention that text message. If the leader finds out, I will definitely be scolded. You are not allowed to mention it." Charlotte shrugged. "Don't worry, I won't mention that text message." Jiang Rui relaxed this time, and there was a smile on her face. "So, you saw the person who set the bomb?" Charlotte said, "I saw it." "Then describe the woman's appearance to me, so that I can perform well in front of the leader." Jiang Rui looked very excited. Xiaolei said, "I've already told Shintu Tianyin. At this time, your leader and colleagues are probably talking to Shintu Tianyin. If you still don't go to the scene, don't even talk about performing, I'm afraid you'll be reprimanded, right? You are really not a good friend. I'm leaving." Jiang Rui hurriedly got in the car, started the engine, and drove away. Charlotte watched Jiang Rui drive away, and then he said, "I was the first to tell you, but you didn't take it seriously and blamed me. You deserve it." When he was near the port, Charlotte finally called a taxi. When he took the taxi to the city, he went to the Industrial and Commercial Bank to cash the 2 check. He deposited the 1 million yuan that Dongfang Heavy Industry had paid him into his account, and left 50,000 yuan in cash. He made money in Dongfang Heavy Industry, and he would not forget Ma Xiaoan and Zhou Xiaohong, who stayed in the studio to work. When he walked out of the bank, Charlotte received a call from Ning Yuanshan. "Xiaolei." On the phone, Ning Yuanshan changed the way he addressed Charlotte, and it was very intimate. "I wanted to have a good chat with you, but I didn't expect such a thing to happen. I'm really sorry." Charlotte said with a smile, "Uncle Ning, it's nothing. You don't have to feel sorry for it." Ning Yuanshan said, "How can I do that? You helped me so much, but I didn't even say a word of thanks." Charlotte changed the topic. "By the way, Uncle Ning, how did you deal with the bomb?" Ning Yuanshan said, "The bomb was real, and it was a powerful military explosive. I'm scared just thinking about it. The police checked our surveillance video, but they didn't find the woman. A director surnamed Jiang volunteered to take charge of the case. In the end, her boss didn't agree. No one mentioned me, right?" Charlotte knew that Ning Yuanshan was talking about Jiang Rui, so he was not surprised. "Miss Shintu told me not to mention you in advance. But I think it's a good thing. Otherwise, it will bring you some trouble," Ning Yuanshan said. Charlotte thought to himself, "So it was Shintu Tianyin who told me. She doesn't want to bring me trouble, right?" Thinking of this, he suddenly smiled again. "I thought too much. Why would a person like her care about me?" Ning Yuanshan's voice came from the phone again. "By the way, Xiaolei, let's have dinner together tonight. I'll celebrate with you." Charlotte quickly said, "There's no need for that, Uncle Ning. It's really fine." "What are you talking about? I don't care. You must come." Ning Yuanshan was very domineering. "I'll ask Peaceful to come too. I'll contact the hotel and send you the address and time." "That's settled." Ning Yuanshan hung up the phone, regardless of whether Charlotte agreed or not. Charlotte didn't have a chance to refuse. Charlotte didn't think much about it. He stopped a taxi and went back to Thunderhorse Studio. Chapter 39. As soon as he arrived at Lei Ma Studio, Charlotte received a text message from Ning Yuanshan. The location was at the Bordeaux Hotel, and the time was 7 o'clock in the evening. "Uncle Ning is really something. He didn't even ask for my opinion. Forget it, I'll go. Maybe we'll work together again in the future. It's better not to offend a person like him. I'll take Xiaoan and Xiaohong there and let them see the world." Charlotte thought to himself. Ma Xiaoan was welding, and Zhou Xiaohong was helping him. Ma Xiaoan was sweating profusely from the heat, and so was Zhou Xiaohong. Her sweat had soaked her overalls, and the fabric was stuck tightly to her perky buttocks, making them look even more plump and full of fantasies. "Let's take a break." Charlotte clapped his hands. Ma Xiaoan and Zhou Xiaohong found that Charlotte was back. Ma Xiaoan put down the welding pliers in his hand, and Zhou Xiaohong got up and walked to the water dispenser. "No need to pour water." Charlotte stopped her. "You're so tired and sweaty. Why are you still pouring water for me? Let's rest." "Brother Lei, I'm not tired. Let me pour you a glass of water." Zhou Xiaohong wiped the sweat on her forehead with the back of her hand, and there was suddenly a stain on her white forehead. Charlotte was not thirsty, but when Zhou Xiaohong handed him a glass of water, he drank it in one gulp. Ma Xiaoan also washed his hands and came over. "Lei, is the Dongfang heavy industry finished?" "It's finished," Charlotte said. "The chairman of Dongfang Heavy Industry, Ning Yuanshan, invited me to dinner. He said it's a celebration for me. It's boring for me to go alone. I want to take both of you." Ma Xiaoan shook his head. "Lei, I'd better not go to such an important occasion. You can take Xiaohong. You can say that Xiaohong is your secretary." Charlotte said, "You're usually very bold. Why are you so timid today? Isn't it Ning Yuanshan? Will he eat you up?" Ma Xiaoan said, "Ning Yuanshan is a big shot, and I'm just a nobody. I don't feel comfortable eating at the same table with him, so I'd better not go." "Brother Lei Zi, I'm not going either." Zhou Xiaohong looked even more nervous and timid. She stammered, "I'm just a woman from the mountains. I've never seen the world. If Brother Lei Zi takes me there, I'll embarrass you. I'm not going. Charlotte forced a smile and said, "You two are really something. Isn't it just a meal? Do you have to be so afraid?" Ma Xiaoan said, "I'm not afraid, I just don't want to go." "Little Red, you act as a secretary for once and fill in the blank. You go with Leicester." Zhou Xiaohong shook her beautiful head like a rattledrum. "I'm not going. I'm not a secretary." Seeing that persuasion didn't work, Charlotte put 5 stacks of cash on the table and said, "It's okay if you don't want to go. Here's 50,000 yuan. I'll give it to you as a bonus. You can buy whatever you want with it." "Leicester, what are you doing?" Ma Xiaoan looked at Charlotte in surprise and didn't reach out to take the money. Zhou Xiaohong also said nervously, "Brother Lei Zi, I'm already very happy that you're willing to take me in. I've only been here for less than a month. Why did you give me so much bonus all of a sudden? I can't take it." Charlotte said with a smile, "This time I made 1 million in Dongfang Heavy Industry. I wanted to give you more bonus, but I thought that our studio needs money to upgrade, so I only gave you 50,000 yuan. Don't think it's too little. Just take it." "Less your head. Forget it, don't say that. I don't like it. I'll take the money, okay?" Ma Xiaoan took 2 stacks of money and then said, "Xiaoxue is going to the capital to study. I'll go to your house for dinner and see what she needs. I'll buy it for her." Charlotte frowned and said, "You're giving her money again. You'll spoil her." "It's not as serious as you say. You're her brother, and I'm also her brother. What's wrong with me buying her some gifts?" Ma Xiaoan had his reasons. Charlotte said, "It's up to you. Anyway, pay attention to your limit. Don't let her develop the habit of spending lavishly. That's not good." Ma Xiaoan said with a smile, Okay. You're more naggy than my mother." At this time, Zhou Xiaohong said, "Brother Ma, take me with you. I'll also go to Brother Lei Zi's house for dinner. Well, I also want to buy some gifts for Xiaoxue." "Okay, but you can go after you wipe the table." Ma Xiaoan had a smirk on his face. "Okay." Zhou Xiaohong twisted the rag and went to wipe the table. "Take the money and put it away. Don't drop it." Charlotte put the money in Zhou Xiaohong's hand and told her. Zhou Xiaohong's eyes were red. She was so moved that she couldn't speak. She came out from her hometown to work. Her biggest dream was to save up 10,000 yuan to send to her hometown. She estimated that she would need to work hard for a year to achieve this goal. But now, she had only been in Lei Ma studio for less than a month, and Charlotte had given her 20,000 yuan as a bonus. This 20,000 yuan was very meaningful to her. How could she not be moved? Go and do your job well. Charlotte didn't want to see her cry. Okay. Zhou Xiaohong put the 2 bundles of money into her trouser pocket and worked hard to wipe the table. Her hands clattered over and over, and her full breasts trembled endlessly. They almost hit the table. Ma Xiaoan's eyes stared at Zhou Xiaohong's breast. He didn't even blink. Charlotte smiled bitterly and shook his head. He walked to Ma Xiaoan's side and said in a low voice, "I'm telling you, the girl is honest. Don't hurt her." Ma Xiaoan also lowered his voice. "Brother, what kind of person do you think I am? My behavior is not suitable for her. I won't hurt her. I just want to look. It's not illegal to look, and I won't get pregnant, right?" Charlotte slapped the back of Ma Xiaoan's head. "You be asterisk starred." Ma Xiaoan didn't get angry after being slapped. He just stared at Zhou Xiaohong, who was wiping the table, and laughed. In the evening, Charlotte called a taxi and went straight to Bailiton Hotel. Before he arrived at Bailiton Hotel, Ning Qing called him. "Sister Ning, what's up?" Charlotte warmly greeted her. "I bad news." Over the phone, Ning Qing's voice sounded anxious. "What happened? Don't worry. Tell me slowly." "My second uncle told my dad about you. My dad is coming to dinner tonight," Ning Qing said. "Huh." Charlotte was shocked. Peaceful said, "My second uncle made you sound like a god. He said you were the perfect son-in-law. When my dad heard that, he laughed and scolded me. He said I was hiding such a big thing from him. Tell me, what should I do?" Peaceful said, "What should I do?" When Charlotte heard that, his head started to hurt. I don't know what to do. I've never encountered something like this before." "I have no experience either," Ning Qing said. "It's all my fault. I didn't talk to you before I told my second uncle that you were my boyfriend." Ning Qing was very upset. Charlotte comforted her. "Don't worry. You just wanted your second uncle to see me and help me get the order. How could I blame you?" "It's all in the past," Ning Qing said. "Don't talk about it. My dad's heart is not good. He can't be angry. Let's just work together and lie to him again." Charlotte bit the bullet and said, "Okay, let's act again. But I'm not good at acting. If I mess it up, don't blame me." No, I won't," Ning Qing said. "Just act accordingly. Okay, that's it. I'll wait for you at the hotel." Ning Qing hung up. Charlotte was still holding his phone. He looked as if his soul had left his body. He thought it was a celebratory dinner, but it was actually a family dinner for a blind date. He was not Ning Qing's boyfriend, but he was going to meet Ning Qing's father as her boyfriend. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. "Brother, are you going to meet the girl's parents?" Ning Qing's brother turned around and looked at Charlotte. He smiled. Charlotte came back to his senses. "How did you know?" "I heard it," Ning Qing's brother said. "You can't just go like this. You have to buy some decent gift." Charlotte's head was already hurting. After hearing what Ning Qing said, his heart was in a mess. "It's not that complicated. Forget it. Let's stop at the supermarket in front. I'll buy some gift." Ning Qing's brother smiled and said, "That's right." The taxi stopped in front of the Walmart supermarket. Charlotte strode to the supermarket. He went in empty-handed. When he came out, he carried a big bag in his left hand and another in his right. Ning Qing did not say whether her mother would come or not, but he thought that in this situation, Ning Qing's mother would definitely come to see her future son-in-law. So, he prepared 2 gifts. One was for Ning Qing's father, and the other was for Ning Qing's mother. "Brother, you are awesome," Ning Qing's brother said. You will look good if you go like this. You will definitely make your future father-in-law and mother-in-law happy. Charlotte was not in the mood to joke, so he did not say anything. He just urged the driver to drive. When they arrived at the Bordeaux Hotel, Charlotte paid the fare and entered the lobby. He immediately saw Ning Qing waiting in the lobby. Today, Ning Qing had purposely dressed up. She was wearing a national-style blue and white porcelain dress with a small and cute navy jacket. On her feet was a pair of simple and elegant leather shoes with high heels. With such a combination, she looked even more scholarly. There were many beautiful women in the lobby, but she was the most special and eye-catching one. When he saw her for the first time, he could not help but praise her. She was beautiful. Charlotte carried 2 big bags of gifts and walked over. He smiled and greeted her. "Sister Ning, I'm sorry I'm late. I hope I didn't keep you waiting." Ning Qing walked over with small step. She looked nervous. "Don't call me Sister Ning. My second uncle told my parents that you are 25. Tonight you can call me by my nickname. Call me Jingzi." Charlotte nodded. "Yes, I will remember." You can try calling me that," Ning Qing said awkwardly. Charlotte opened his mouth. After a while, he said, "Jingzi, Jingzi." "It's okay. When you call me that, be more natural. Don't be so stiff." Ning Qing was like a strategist on the battlefield. "Also, my dad's name is Ning Yuanhai, and my mom's name is Zhang Huilan. My dad is easy to deal with. Just give him a few drinks. If he's happy, he can do anything. My mom is hard to deal with. She will ask you a lot of questions. You have to be smart. Otherwise, she will see through you." Charlotte's head was spinning. "What kind of questions will your mom ask me?" Peaceful said, "House, car, work situation, income, family members, and so on. You better think about how to answer. Don't get it wrong." Charlotte had a wry smile. "It doesn't look like this is the first time you've experienced something like this." Ning Qing looked helpless. "My mom forced me to go on more than 10 blind dates. How could I not know what questions she asks?" Charlotte suddenly felt that Ning Qing was actually quite pitiful. "Let's go. I'll hold your hand." Ning Qing took a gift bag and held Charlotte's arm. The moment they held hands, the two of them were strangely nervous. They looked awkward, but they pretended to be natural. They walked to the restaurant together. Although they were pretending to be a couple, when the two of them held hands, people who saw them would secretly praise them. They were a pair made of gold and jade. Chapter 40. It was a family dinner for a blind date. Although some of Dongfang Heavy Industries higher-ups and engineers were present, Ning Yuanshan had arranged for them to be far away. He had arranged for a private room, and there were only him, Ning Yuanhai, Peaceful's mother, Zhang Huilan, and Xia Lei and Peaceful. There were only 5 of them at the big round table, so it was not a waste. It was Charlotte's first time meeting Ning Yuanhai and Zhang Huilan. Ning Yuanhai and Ning Yuanshan looked very similar. They were both in their 50s. Zhang Huilan looked quite young. She looked to be in her early 40s, but she did not look old at all. She was very similar to Peaceful. Although she was a bit older, she was definitely an older beauty. She had a pretty face, a good body, and a good temperament. I did not expect Sister Ning's mother to be so young. When Sister Ning reaches her mother's age, she will probably look like this. Charlotte had a weird thought. "Mom, Dad, second uncle, Charlotte is here," Peaceful said. In fact, there was no need for Peaceful to introduce him. From the moment Charlotte entered the private room, Ning Yuanhai and Zhang Huilan looked at Charlotte. They looked at him from head to toe and then from his feet to his head. From the small detail of Peaceful holding Charlotte's hand, they guessed Charlotte's identity. Being stared at by Peaceful's parents like they were interrogating a criminal, Xia Lei suddenly became nervous. He froze, not knowing what to do next. Peaceful used her elbow to touch Charlotte's waist. She quietly urged him, "What are you doing? Hurry up and go." Charlotte came back to his senses. He quickly walked forward. Hello, Uncle, Auntie, Uncle Lou. I'm sorry I'm late. I've kept you waiting. Ning Yuanhai said, Young man, time is important. Zhang Huilan also said, Yeah, it's our first time meeting and you're already late. Charlotte wanted to explain, but he could not. It was very awkward. He thought this would not be easy. It would be difficult, but he did not expect it to be this difficult. Peaceful's parents had given him a hard time from the beginning. Peaceful said, Ale was busy buying you presents, so he was late. Don't talk about it. Charlotte handed over the presents. Uncle, Auntie, this is a small gift. Please accept it. Ning Yuanhai took the presents and looked at them, but Zhang Huilan did not even look at them. She just put them on the table. The couple seemed to have planned this beforehand. They were not going to treat Charlotte nicely. They wanted to test Charlotte's temper. Xia Lei sighed in his heart, Hurry up and eat, then leave this place. From now on, even if Ning Jie holds a knife to my neck, I will not act with her like this. Sister Ning, and the food is not yet. Qing is Qing and sister said. Really, it's already so late and they still haven't served the dishes. This speed is too slow. Charlotte glanced at the door of the private room and thought to himself, would a 5-star hotel have such a problem? Don't lie to me. Didn't you tell the kitchen to delay the dishes? Ning Yuanhai looked at Charlotte with a rather friendly gaze. It was not difficult to see that he was very satisfied with Charlotte's sunny and handsome image. Yes, cough. Zhang Huilan coughed inexplicably and said, Charlotte, when did you meet my Shitsi? Peaceful said, Half a year ago we met in a bookstore. I love reading, and so does he. Shut up. I didn't ask you. Zhang Huilan stared at Peaceful. Peaceful shut her mouth. She looked like she was afraid of Zhang Huilan, and Zhang Huilan seemed to be the leader of her family. Charlotte bit the bullet and said, Yes, we met half a year ago in a bookstore. Which bookstore? Charlotte thought about it and said, Xinhua bookstore. It's been half a year. You guys have been together for half a year and you've been hiding it from us. Zhang Huilan looked angry. Charlotte, are you treating us like we don't exist? Or are you just playing with my Shitsi? What you are doing is not the behavior of a responsible man. Charlotte's scalp was starting to feel numb. He bit the bullet and said, I'm sorry, Auntie. I didn't think that. Zhang Huilan interrupted Charlotte. How old are you this year? 25. What about your parents? My mother passed away a long time ago. My father is gone. My sister and I are the only ones left. My sister got into Kyoto University. In a few days, she will be going to school. Charlotte told her everything so Zhang Huilan wouldn't ask any more questions. Zhang Huilan's lips curled into a smile that was hard to notice. She and Ning Yuanhai looked at each other and exchanged glances. It was not hard to tell that she was satisfied with Charlotte's age, appearance, temperament, and family. Where is second uncle? Why isn't he back yet? Why isn't dinner ready yet? Peaceful asked. I'm hungry. You have no manners. Zhang Huilan stared at Peaceful. Then, Peaceful shut her mouth. Zhang Huilan's gaze landed on Charlotte. It was as if she wanted to see through his heart. Charlotte, do you have a house? Charlotte looked a bit awkward. Yes, my parents left it, but it's small. It's only 75 square feet. Zhang Huilan said, It is too small. If our Shitsi marries, how can you two and your sister live in such a small house? You will have to take care of your children, and it will be even more cramped. You have to work hard to earn money. You need to buy a big house. It needs to be at least 150 square feet. Charlotte was speechless. What about a car? Have you bought a car yet? Charlotte shook his head. No. That won't do. You have to buy a car worth at least 500,000. It would be best if it's a 7-seater city SUV. That way, our family can sit in it whenever we go out. I don't have the money to buy a car like that, Charlotte said. Before Charlotte could finish, Peaceful stepped on his foot. Charlotte shut his mouth. He felt very awkward. The two of them did not escape Zhang Huilan's eyes. She frowned. By the way, Charlotte, what is your education level? Charlotte did not even think about it. He answered, high school. High school? Zhang Huilan's frown deepened. Why are you only a high school student? Ning Yuanhai frowned too. He was clearly not satisfied with Charlotte's education level. Zhang Huilan's tone and Ning Yuanhai's eyes made Charlotte feel uncomfortable. But he remembered that he was playing along with Peaceful's act, so he endured it. He maintained the respect he had for his elders. Auntie, I want to go to university, but if I go to university, no one will take care of my sister. But I don't regret it. Zhang Huilan and Ning Yuanhai looked at each other. They seemed to be hesitating. The old couple was satisfied with Charlotte's other conditions, but they were not satisfied with his education level. Our Jingzi is a PhD student. You two have a huge cultural difference. You two can get along now, but marriage is a lifetime thing. Are you confident you can adapt to this cultural difference? Zhang Huilan looked at Charlotte. The way she looked at him was no longer as friendly as before. Charlotte did not know how to answer that question. He had never thought about living with Peaceful. Zhang Huilan said, and your child, from a genetic point of view, our Jingzi's genes are the best and yours. Mom, what are you talking about? Peaceful blushed. She was not happy. Charlotte had come to help her, but she had not expected her mother to make things difficult for Charlotte. Just as things were getting awkward, Ning Yuanshan walked in. He laughed and said, the food will be served soon. Ning Yuanhai stood up and pulled Ning Yuanshan to a corner of the room to talk. Zhang Huilan stood up and walked over. She pulled Peaceful to another corner to talk. The four Ning family members were talking. They were clearly talking about Charlotte. Charlotte sat there, looking very lonely. He was like a contestant on a talent show. After his performance, he was waiting for the judges to give him a score. He would either advance or be eliminated. Charlotte smiled bitterly. This world is so realistic. Luckily, I am not really in a relationship with Peaceful. If I were her mother's son-in-law, I would have gone crazy sooner or later. The four Ning family members were still talking. Ning Yuanhai said to Ning Yuanshan, Yuanshan, this won't work. Charlotte is just a high school student. He is far from our Jingzi. His child will not have AA genes. He will have AB genes. Ning Yuanshan said, Brother, are you out of your mind? What does education mean? I have a bunch of university students and researchers. Some are warehouse keepers and some are copywriters. They can't even compare to one of Charlotte's toes. Do you know that with Charlotte's skills, there are only a few in the whole country? Isn't it just welding and lathe? You make it sound so mysterious. Ning Yuanhai clearly did not agree with Ning Yuanshan's point of view. Ning Yuanshan sighed. Do whatever you want. If Jingzi was my daughter, I would definitely approve of her and Charlotte being together. I am not against it, Ning Yuanhai said. It's just that Jingzi's mother doesn't agree. I can't do anything about it. On the other side, Zhang Huilan whispered into Peaceful's ear, Daughter, how far have you progressed? Peaceful's face turned red. Mom, why are you asking this? Just answer me when I ask you, Zhang Huilan probed. Have you slept together? Peaceful's face turned even redder. We haven't progressed that far. We just hold hands. Sometimes we kiss. You really haven't slept together? Really? That's good. I don't have to worry. Zhang Huilan sighed in relief. Peaceful sneaked a look at Charlotte. She did not know why, but her eyes looked a little disappointed. Zhang Huilan moved closer to Peaceful's ear and said, Daughter, actually, Mom doesn't object to your free love. If this Charlotte is good, your dad and I will be happy to accept him. But he is just a high school student. How can a high school student be with a PhD student? If you don't like it, then forget it, Peaceful said. It was fake, anyway. It was fine to end it like this. Do you remember the boy you played with when you were young? Who? Your auntie whose son, Ren Wenxiang. He came back from the United States. He got his PhD in business management. When he came back, he was hired by Wanxiang Group to be the project manager of the wind power project. He will be the person in charge of this project in the future. What does that have to do with me? Of course it does. Wenxiang has liked you since he was young. As his mother, how could I not know? Today, I bumped into him. He heard you were coming, so he said he wanted to talk to your second uncle about the wind power project. I know he wants to see you. After saying that, Zhang Huilan looked at her watch. He should be here by now, right? That's not good. Peaceful suddenly regretted asking Charlotte to help her. She thought it would hurt Charlotte. Zhang Huilan stared at Peaceful. What's not good about it? You and Wenxiang are childhood friends. You two can be considered childhood sweethearts. If the two of you get together, that would be a match made in heaven. Later on, you must be nice to him, got it? Peaceful bit her lips. She did not expect things to change like this. She wanted to leave with Charlotte. At that moment, a young man in a suit appeared at the door of the private room. Chapter 41. The man in the suit was the Ren Wenxiang that Zhang Huilan had mentioned. He was 1.8 meters tall and had a slender body. His facial features were handsome, and his eyes were mature and deep. He had the aura of a well-read scholar. He also had the aura of an elite in the business world. When he appeared, he became the center of attention. A person's aura was developed by their environment. Ren Wenxiang's aura was related to his experience studying abroad, his family, and his achievements. Charlotte did not have Ren Wenxiang's aura. Charlotte's aura was that of a normal person. It was simple, friendly, and down-to-earth. Although he gave people a friendly feeling, he was not noble at all. Aya Wenxiang, please sit. Zhang Huilan went over to greet him. Hello, Auntie Lan, Uncle Shan, and Uncle Hai. Ren Wenxiang politely greeted her. Then, he looked at Peaceful. He had a bright smile on his face. Shitsi, long time no see. Hello. You? Hello. For some reason, Peaceful felt nervous. Ren Wenxiang greeted everyone in the Ning family, but he did not greet Charlotte. He looked at Charlotte. His eyes were cold. Io, you are so polite. Please sit. She pulled Ren Wenxiang's hand and led him to the table. She even pulled out a chair for him to sit. Zhang Huilan had arranged a seat for Ren Wenxiang next to Peaceful. Charlotte did not know what was going on. He thought to himself, is this young man from the Ning family? Why didn't Peaceful tell me she had a relative coming? He didn't greet me. What is the meaning of that? Peaceful returned to her seat. To her left was Charlotte, and to her right was Ren Wenxiang. Both men were handsome, and they had their own characteristics. Her heart was in a mess. She did not dare look at Charlotte or Ren Wenxiang. Ning Yuanshan and Ning Yuanhai sat down. Zhang Huilan walked to the door of the private room and called a waiter. You can serve the food now. Charlotte suddenly understood. The reason why the dishes weren't served earlier was because they were waiting for this young man who just came in. From Zhang Huilan's reaction, he seemed to have guessed something. He could not help but look at Peaceful, but Peaceful lowered her head and did not dare to look at him. Wenxiang. Ning Yuanshan broke the brief silence and said with a smile, How's your work in the Wanxiang Corporation? Ren Wenxiang smiled and said, It's all right. Ms. Shintu treats me pretty well, and I've also adapted to the working environment of the Wanxiang Corporation. Ning Yuanshan said, That's good. I know you are in charge of the wind power project. Please put in a good word for Ms. Shintu. If we can get the order from the Wanxiang Group, our company's task this year will be completed ahead of schedule. Ren Wenxiang maintained the gentle and charming smile on his face. Uncle Shan, don't worry. I'll definitely find a chance to put in a good word for your company in front of Miss Shintu. I believe that Miss Shintu will also make the right choice. After all, your company is a large state-owned enterprise, and your reputation and strength are indisputable. Ning Yuanshan also smiled. Then I'll thank you in advance. Uncle Shan, you are too kind. Ren Wenxiang looked very polite. Zhang Huilan smiled and said, Quiet, Wenxiang, this kid is still so polite. I watched you grow up. When you were young, I knew you would have a bright future. Now I'm right. Ren Wenxiang smiled and said, Auntie Lan, you are also too polite. Ning Yuanhai said, Jingzi, you and Wenxiang have not seen each other for a few years. Later, pour Wenxiang a glass of wine and have a drink with him. Serenity hesitated for a moment, then nodded gently. The few of them chatted happily, and Charlotte became an unimportant character. He was just a foil. Things were going this way, and Charlotte finally understood. Peaceful had asked him to put on a show to deal with her parent. She had not expected Ren Wenxiang to appear out of nowhere, and Peaceful's parents clearly liked this kid. Peaceful's parents had asked Ren Wenxiang to come. Their goal was clear. They wanted him, her current boyfriend, to feel ashamed and leave. After understanding the truth of the matter, Charlotte felt a bit uncomfortable. Although he was not Peaceful's real boyfriend, Peaceful's parents' actions were hurtful. Charlotte wanted to leave, but Ren Wenxiang suddenly looked at him. He smiled and said, I am sorry, but who is this? Why don't you introduce him? He is. Peaceful wanted to say something, but she stopped. Zhang Huilan quickly said, He is your Uncle Shan's friend. Ning Yuanshan said, Yes. His name is Charlotte. He is my friend. He knows Jingzi. Ren Wenxiang stood up and reached out his hand. Hello, Mr. Xia. Charlotte stood up and shook Ren Wenxiang's hand. Hello, Mr. Ren. After shaking hands, Ren Jiqiang smiled and said, Mr. Xia's hand is really strong. The callous skin is very thick. At first, it was good. Ren Jiqiang looked very elegant and polite. But soon, it was not like that. He said Charlotte's hand was strong and the callous skin was thick. That was obviously a form of mockery. He was a student who had returned from abroad, and he was an executive. How could he look up to a normal worker like Charlotte? Ren Wenxiang looked at Ning Yuanshan and asked, How can he be here, Uncle Shan? Ning Yuanshan had returned his English to the teacher. He shook his head to show that he did not understand. He could tell that Ren Wenxiang did not want Charlotte to understand what he was saying. Ren Wenxiang looked at Peaceful very gently. He asked in English, Is he your boyfriend? Peaceful looked at Xia Lei. She forced herself to speak in English. No. We are just very good friends. She was telling the truth. She and Charlotte were good friends. They were not lovers. Ren Wenxiang smiled and said in English, I see. I thought he was your boyfriend. He is not suitable for you. You are so beautiful. Only the best man can be a good match for you. What he meant was obvious. Charlotte was not a good match for Peaceful. Only a very good man could be a good match for her. Although he did not say what kind of man was a very good man, what he meant was that he was one of them. Peaceful quietly looked at Charlotte. Her eyes were full of guilt. Was he showing off his English? A hint of disdain appeared at the corner of Xia Lei's mouth. He also said in English, His English isn't bad. This is probably the standard of a very outstanding man. He is probably saying that he is a good match for you. You should think about it. Ren Wenxiang was stunned, and his handsome face turned red. He showed off his English because he thought that a laborer like Xia Lei wouldn't understand it. However, he didn't expect that Xia Lei not only understood it, but could also speak such fluent English. Moreover, he mocked him to the point of no return. Peaceful shyly avoided Charlotte's eyes. She knew Charlotte was very uncomfortable, and it was all because of her. Charlotte looked at Ren Wenxiang and said in French, Mr. Ren, don't think you are so great after studying in the United States. Don't look down on others because you are not better than anyone. Everyone has a good side and a bad side. You give me the impression that you are too arrogant. Ren Wenxiang looked at Xia Lei in surprise, and the pig liver color on his face became more obvious. He did not understand French, so he did not know what Charlotte had said. From Charlotte's tone and disdainful eyes, he could guess that it was not something good. He wanted to argue, but he hesitated. He was the first to show off his English ability. Charlotte knew English. Charlotte had not only used English to argue with him, but now he was speaking in French. What foreign language should he use to respond? That was the part that made it difficult for him. He only knew English. Ning Yuanhai and Zhang Huilan looked at Charlotte with their mouths wide open. The old couple had never thought that a high school student they looked down on could speak 2 foreign languages, and he could speak them so fluently. Ning Yuanshan didn't seem too surprised. He lowered his head awkwardly and thought to himself, should I tell them that Xia Lei understands German? The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Fortunately, a waiter pushed a dining cart into the room and brought out the food. Zhang Huilan took the opportunity to break the silence in the private room. She laughed dryly and said, "Haha, why are you young people speaking in a foreign language? We don't understand it. I had already taught my English to my teacher. Let's all speak in Mandarin, okay?" Yes, let's speak Mandarin," Ning Yuanhai said. Before the waiter brought out the food from the cart, Charlotte stood up and said in Russian, "I'm sorry, but I have something to do. I have to go." Everyone looked at Charlotte. They were shocked, confused. "Charlotte, what is the meaning of this?" Zhang Huilan looked at Charlotte with dissatisfaction. Charlotte said, "I don't mean anything else. I just said that I have something urgent to deal with. I will accompany you another day. Goodbye." "Charlotte, you." Peaceful wanted to say something, but she stopped. Charlotte patted her shoulder. "Let's talk another day. Goodbye." After that, he walked out of the room. Peaceful watched Xia Lei's back disappear. Her heart was filled with guilt. Ren Wenxiang looked at her with disdain. "He is just a laborer and he is so cocky. Jingzi, you should stop interacting with people like that." Yes. Let's eat. Ignore him." Zhang Huilan smiled. Ning Yuanshan poured Ren Wenxiang a glass of wine. "Wenxiang, let's drink." Suddenly, Peaceful stood up. "Sorry, I am not feeling well. You guys eat. I am leaving." "You." Zhang Huilan was angry. "Sit down." "I am not a child anymore," Peaceful said loudly. Then, she quickly left the room. "I am not a child anymore." The 4 people in the private room were stunned on the spot and couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. Peaceful walked out of the room. She looked around for Charlotte, but Charlotte was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, her phone rang with a message. She opened it to look. It was a message from Charlotte. "I am sorry I could not help you. Take care of your father. Listen to him. Don't make him angry." She did not know why, but Peaceful's tears started to flow. She took a deep breath, wiped her tears, and walked back to the private room she had just left. Chapter 42. Jiang Rui couldn't wait to open the box. There was a long black dress in the box. The style and material were exquisite. She fell in love with it at first sight, and a sweet smile appeared on her face. Ring ring, ring ring ring. His phone suddenly rang. No one answered, and the living room was empty. Jiang Rui crossed her legs, and 2/3 of her fair legs were exposed to the air. Her back was pressed against the back of the sofa, and her arms were spread out and pressed against the back of the sofa. Under the open neckline was another stretch of fair and delicate skin, and her amazing cleavage. Her sitting posture was very open and natural. However, Charlotte, who was sitting opposite her, looked uneasy, and didn't seem to know where to look. Jiang Rui closed the door, walked over, and sat opposite Charlotte. She didn't even pour a cup of tap water for Charlotte. Jiang Rui said, 1 million. You earned 1 million, and I'm the last one to know about it. Charlotte nodded. Go ahead. It's good to inform them earlier. Ma Xiaoan said, "I'll make the call now. I've already broken off with you." It was Jiang Rui's voice. Charlotte let Zhou Xiaohong practice by herself. He called Ma Xiaoan aside and told him his plan. Then he said, "How about this? What do you think?" Zhou Xiaohong made a cup of tea for Charlotte and put it on Charlotte's desk. She moved closer to Charlotte's shoulder and looked at the monitor. "Brother Charlotte, do you still want to buy equipment?" This was Jiang Rui. Charlotte smiled. At this moment, he had also calmed down. Wasn't it Jiang Rui in a half-wet bathrobe? He had even seen Jiang Rui naked. He walked past Jiang Rui into the house, and then sat on the sofa in the living room. He didn't put the box on the coffee table, but behind him. Jiang Rui often teased him. Now that there was a chance to tease her, of course, he didn't want to miss it. Zhou Xiaohong followed Charlotte's instructions step by step, feeling very nervous. Ma Xiaoan walked in and saw Charlotte teaching Zhou Xiaohong how to use a computer. He smiled and said, "Xiaohong, don't go to the Japanese AV website. You will learn bad things if you do." Charlotte was stunned on the spot. Whoremonger? Why did she mention the word whoremonger? Sure, how many people do you need? When he got home, Xia Shui had already fallen asleep. Charlotte went back to his room and read for a while. He didn't sleep until he was tired. Zhou Xiaohong also quickly said, "No, it doesn't matter." Jiang Rui also found out that she said the wrong thing. Her pink face suddenly turned red. She quickly changed the topic. "Quickly hand over the things, or don't think about leaving my door tonight." Ma Xiaoan said, "You decide. This studio is yours. I will follow you no matter what you do." With this posture, she was like the daughter of a landlord in the old days. Charlotte, who was opposite her, was her family's strong and durable long-term worker. "So that's what you were talking about." Charlotte smiled. "Sorry, I forgot to tell you." Charlotte didn't even look back. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared into the corridor. Perhaps he owed Jiang Rui in his previous life. Charlotte walked around the street and finally spent more than 1,000 yuan to buy a dress for Jiang Rui in a women's clothing store. Charlotte stared at the mobile phone in his hand speechlessly, as if it was Jiang Rui. "You, who am I to you? Should I buy clothes for you just because you want them? Should I buy cosmetics and bags for you just because you want them? Really?" Jiang Rui was wearing a bathrobe at the door. Her hair was wet. Apparently, she had just taken a shower. She seemed to hear him knocking on the door, so she came out of the bathroom. She didn't have time to dry her body, so the thin bathrobe was wet and stuck to her skin tightly. The fascinating scenery appeared. The bathrobe was dry in some places, wet in some places, dark in some places, light in some places, straight in some places, curled in some places, and the woman in the bathrobe. Her body was like a hazy poem. Every time he read it, it would bring him a sense of novelty and mystery. "Charlotte? I don't know anyone named Charlotte." It was Jiang Rui's voice. "Get lost, get lost," Charlotte urged impatiently. Charlotte was stunned. He didn't know how to get along with her. "I don't care. I want clothes, cosmetics and bags. You have to buy them for me." Zhou Xiaohong's apple-like face flushed red, and she hurriedly took a step back. The wonderful feeling at that moment made her feel embarrassed, and her body seemed to have a subtle reaction. That feeling made her even more shy. Charlotte got up and pulled her to the desk. Then, he pressed her down on the chair and instructed her, "Then use the mouse and click on Office." Charlotte said with a smile, "You can learn. We're not a big company. It's just a studio. The accounts are very simple. If you learn it, you'll definitely do well." Charlotte didn't expect Zhou Xiaohong's head to be on his shoulder. Before he could finish his sentence, his lips bumped against Zhou Xiaohong's cheek. That position was close to the corner of her mouth, and he almost kissed her lips. The moment the door opened, it was like a spring breeze blowing. Charlotte seemed to stand on the grass full of flowers all of a sudden. His whole person was not right. Charlotte said, "Learn from you. Don't listen to his nonsense. Zhou Xiaohong responded obediently, and then stared at Ma Xiaoan with her big black eyes. Where's the dress you bought for me? Jiang Rui said carelessly, since you bought it, why are you still hiding it? You did it on purpose. Jiang Rui said angrily, even the little female worker you just hired got a bonus of 20,000 yuan. I don't even have a penny. Lei, am I beautiful? Jiang Rui said happily. Charlotte smiled. We knew so many people when we were working at the construction site. If you think someone is hardworking and has good skills, you can contact them and ask them if they are willing to come. As for the salary, we can give them a little higher so they have something to think about. Charlotte frowned. Which ear of yours heard that I asked you to change here? You're so ugly. I don't even want to see you naked. Charlotte, Jiang Rui, on the other hand, felt as though she was wearing a down jacket and cotton pants. She gave a subordinate's bow and smiled. Boss Lei, please come in. What would you like to order? Back in the neighborhood, Charlotte didn't go home. He went straight to Jiang Rui's door. He reached out and knocked on the door. Zhou Xiaohong was learning how to use the computer, Ma Xiaoan was making phone calls to find someone, and Charlotte was pacing back and forth in the studio, thinking about where to install the new equipment when he came back. Jiang Rui happily went into her dormitory with the dress. A few minutes later, she came out of the dormitory and had changed into the new dress that Charlotte bought for her. The long black dress was very fitting, and it also beautifully outlined the curves of her body, adding a bit of a cold and elegant temperament to her. This dress was a perfect match for her. But I don't know how to. Zhou Xiaohong still didn't have the slightest confidence. Charlotte frowned. He knocked harder on the door and said, Rui? It's me, Charlotte. Open the door. Charlotte's lips were a little dry. Whatever. Beer, give me a can of beer. There was still no response in the room. The next morning, Charlotte went to Lei Ma's studio. He turned on the computer and logged into Alibaba. He picked up equipment and materials online. He had earned $1 million from Dongfang Heavy Industry, so he had to use the money where it mattered most. He actually wanted to buy a car, but he decided to upgrade the studio first. If he had any leftover money, he would be satisfied with a cheap second-hand car. Charlotte felt very awkward. He quickly said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Good girl. Charlotte rubbed his chin. Walk for me. Jiang Rui wasn't angry at all. She giggled and said, Lei, wait for me here. I'll go in and change into it. Then you can see if I look pretty. Xia Lei saw her and thought to himself, she can't be here to ask me to pretend to be her boyfriend again, right? Charlotte was shocked. He didn't understand and said, What did I hide from you? A car stopped on the side of the road opposite the studio. The door opened and Peaceful got out of the car. She was wearing a white round-neck t-shirt, tight denim shorts, and a pair of light-colored high-heeled sandals. Her body was brimming with youthfulness. She was so sexy and charming. A window on the third floor opened and an auntie looked down. She mumbled, When are these two going to be together? I'm worried about you guys. Jiang Rui was shocked. She suddenly grabbed a pillow and threw it at Charlotte. She scolded like a tigress, Do you think you're a client? Her words were quite ambiguous. Charlotte couldn't take it anymore. He threw the box behind him to Jiang Rui. Xia Lei thought for a moment. 5 then. 5 it is. If we need them in the future, we'll hire more. Brother, you're... Jiang Rui changed the way she addressed him. She sweetly said, Brother. Charlotte smiled and said, Okay, I'll give the dress to Xiaoxue. Zhou Xiaohong asked curiously, What is a Japanese AV website? Jiang Rui didn't hear this, and neither did Charlotte. You're not an employee of Lei Ma Studio. I can't give you a bonus, can I? The phone call was from Jiang Rui. How long are you going to hide it from me? Haizhu City was shrouded in darkness. His field of vision was brightly lit, and the traffic was flowing. Strangers walked past him like flowing water. The city was both familiar and strange to Xiaolei. Charlotte said, "Well, our business will get better and better. The current equipment can't do that much work. Not only do I want to buy equipment, but I also want to hire a few people." He turned around and said, "In the future, Xiao. That's settled. I'll wait for you at home." Jiang Rui didn't wait for Charlotte to speak and hung up. Finally, Jiang Rui's voice came from behind the door. "Who's knocking on my door in the middle of the night?" As the cool night wind blew, the depression in Charlotte's heart also went away with the wind. He was not angry because of Ren Wenxiang's sarcasm, not to mention that he had slapped Ren Wenxiang in the face with his incredible foreign language ability. Jiang Rui looked at Charlotte shyly. "You want me to change here?" "You wish." Charlotte coughed and changed the topic. "What I wanted to say just now is that in the future, Shaoan will be in charge of the people, and you will be in charge of the accounts, collecting money and paying the employees' wages. What do you think?" Charlotte said, "Let's try it. It's 1,600 yuan. It's very expensive." The door opened with a crash. Charlotte said, "It's me, Charlotte." Charlotte said with a smile, "Call me brother. Call me brother and I'll give it to you. You know I don't drink beer. What beer do you want? Is tap water okay?" Jiang Rui's eyes fell straight on the box in Charlotte's hand. She couldn't wait to try on the clothes inside. "I'm in charge of the accounts?" Zhou Xiaohong shook her head like a rattle drum. "I can't do it. Brother Lei, I'm just a junior high school student. I don't even know how to operate a computer. How can I do the accounts? No, I can't do it well." Jiang Rui was stunned for a moment. She quickly rushed to the balcony and happened to see Charlotte running through the green belt to the stairwell. She shouted, "Lei, you bastard! You still owe me cosmetics and bags. Buy them for me tomorrow, or I'll kill you." Chapter 43. Charlotte went out to greet her. He smiled and said, "Sister Ning, what is it?" Peaceful's lips lifted. "What? Can't I come to your place if I have nothing to do?" Charlotte smiled. "Of course you can come. You are always welcome." He paused and said, "I am sorry about yesterday. I messed it up." Peaceful said, "I don't blame you. I didn't know Ren Wenxiang would come. We haven't seen each other in years." Charlotte said, "Your parents seem to like him." Peaceful said, "I am here to apologize. Last night my mother was rude. And Ren Wenxiang too. He is too arrogant." She looked at Charlotte and did not know what to say. Charlotte looked like he did not care. "It's okay. It is normal for people with his status to look down on people like me. This is how society is. It lacks trust and respect." He smiled. "Also, your mother did it for your own good. Ren Wenxiang is very good. I think most mothers would choose a son-in-law like that." Don't talk about it," Peaceful interrupted Charlotte. "Not all women want to marry men with high social status. Not all women want to marry men with big houses and fancy cars. You are not me. How would you know what kind of man I like?" Charlotte said, "I am sorry. That is not what I meant." Peaceful said, "I know you don't mean that. What I want to say is what kind of person I like and what kind of person I want to spend the rest of my life with, only I know. My mother can't make the decision about my life." Charlotte did not want to talk about this anymore. He said, "Please come in and sit. I will make you a cup of tea and then we can talk." Peaceful looked at Charlotte. Her eyes looked straight. "Will it affect your work?" Charlotte smiled and said, No. I don't have much work to do today." Peaceful had a sweet smile on her face. "Can you introduce 2 of your employees to me? I don't have many friends, so I want to make more." Charlotte said, "No problem. They will be very happy to know a friend like you." Peaceful followed Charlotte into the studio. Charlotte introduced Ma Xiaoan and Zhou Xiaohong to Peaceful. The 4 of them chatted and laughed. Then, Peaceful went to teach Zhou Xiaohong how to use the computer and office software. The atmosphere in the studio was very harmonious. Looking at Peaceful and Zhou Xiaohong, Charlotte was confused. Why would a PhD student like Peaceful want to get to know Ma Xiaoan and Zhou Xiaohong? Strange. When a person with a high culture interacted with a person with a low culture, they actually had very few topics to talk about, and the possibility of them becoming friends was even smaller. But before Charlotte could think of a reason, a black BMW car also stopped by the roadside. It was a BMW 7 Series that was worth several million yuan. The body of the car was waxed, and when the sun shone on it, the whole car was dazzling and extraordinary. The car door opened, and Ren Wenxiang, who was wearing a suit and leather shoes, walked out of the driver's seat. He took off his sunglasses and looked at Lei Ma's studio. Then, he walked over. "Sister Ning, someone is looking for you," Charlotte said. He didn't think Ren Wenxiang was looking for him. If Peaceful had not been there, a person of Ren Wenxiang's status would probably never have visited a small workshop like Thunder Horse Studio. Hearing Charlotte speak, Peaceful raised her head and looked. When she saw Ren Wenxiang, she was shocked. The smile on her face disappeared. Ren Wenxiang walked into Lei Ma's studio. His eyes quickly scanned Charlotte's face, Ma Xiaoan's and Zhou Xiaohong's faces. Then, his eyes stopped on Peaceful's face. His face showed a nice smile. "Peaceful, I called you. Why did your phone turn off? I went to your house to look for you, but Andy said you went out. I went to your office to look for you, and I found out you didn't go to work today. I asked around and I found out this place. This place is hard to find. It took me a lot of effort to find this place." Peaceful's face showed a forced smile. "Why are you looking for me?" Ren Wenxiang said, "I left this city a few years ago. This place has changed a lot. I want to see how it has changed, but I lack a guide to show me around. Are you willing to walk around with me?" Without waiting for Peaceful to agree, he said, "I made a reservation at Golden Beach. We can eat Western food at noon. Luxurious cars, romantic Western food, and handsome men. These elements were irresistible to women, but Peaceful seemed to be an exception." She shook her head. "I don't like Western food." Ren Wenxiang said, "Then, let's go eat Chinese food. I know a restaurant that specializes in Cantonese food. The food there is good." Peaceful did not expect Ren Wenxiang to be so annoying. She did not want to reject him, so she said she did not want to eat Western food. She did not expect him to change to Cantonese food. She did not know what excuse she could use to reject him. At this time, Zhou Xiaohong got up and went to the water dispenser to pour a cup of water for Ren Wenxiang. She held it in front of Ren Wenxiang with both hands and said, "Sir, please have some water." Ren Wenxiang did not even extend his hand. He did not respond politely. He did not even look at Zhou Xiaohong. Zhou Xiaohong was frozen. She looked very awkward. She did not know what to do. Charlotte said, "Little Red, this gentleman is too noble. You can't take care of him. Go do what you need to do. Don't worry about him." Zhou Xiaohong returned to the desk with the cup of water. She put the cup on the desk and buried her head in learning how to operate a computer and software. She seemed to be used to living a humble life. Ren Wenxiang looked down on her, but she did not react in the slightest. Ma Xiaoan didn't have a good temper like Zhou Xiaohong. He picked up the glass of water on the desk and drank all the water in the glass in one breath. Then he slammed the glass on the desk and said angrily, "Even the country's leaders don't have such big airs. Pouring water for you is giving you face. You don't even know how to be polite. What kind of joke is this?" Ren Wenxiang's eyes looked angry. He coldly smiled and said, "How can a welder be so arrogant? I don't know where he gets his confidence from." "Welder? So what? Say that again." Ma Xiaoan rolled up his sleeves. He looked like he was about to start a fight. Ren Wenxiang's eyes were full of disdain. "I just said one sentence and you want to fight? But before you do, I want to remind you that I am a level 8 judo. Ma Xiaoan had already taken a step forward, but he retracted his foot. He could not even beat a level 1 judo, let alone a level 8 judo. Ren Wenxiang looked at Charlotte again. His eyes were still full of disdain. Charlotte, right? I know it is not easy for you to open a small shop. You are doing well for your level, but don't think too much about it. Peaceful is not a woman you can pursue. Don't bother her in the future, because you are not worthy. No matter how good Charlotte's temper was, he could not help it. He pointed at the door and said, "Get out!" Ren Wenxiang looked at Peaceful. "Peaceful, come with me. Don't stay with these rough people all day. You will be polluted by them." "I am not leaving. If you want to leave, leave by yourself." Peaceful had had enough. Ren Wenxiang said, "Do you want me to call your auntie and uncle? I think if they know you are here, they will definitely come. Your father's heart is not good. Do you want him to be angry because of this?" "You." Peaceful was so angry that she was in tears. "How can you be so overbearing?" Ren Wenxiang said. "If I am not overbearing, how can I protect you? There are too many liars in this world. You are so innocent, so it is easy to be deceived." Although he did not say who was a liar when he said this, he looked at Charlotte with provocative eyes. His words were obviously aimed at Charlotte. Charlotte wanted to make a move. Ma Xiaoan also grabbed a wrench, ready to help Charlotte. At that moment, 3 cars stopped by the roadside. A black Mercedes-Benz, a flatbed truck, and a small crane. The door of the Mercedes-Benz opened, and a bald old man got out of the passenger seat. He looked at the sign of Rema Studio and walked straight over. Behind him, the driver of the flatbed truck jumped down and untied the tarpaulin on the truck. There were 2 brand new CNC lathes and a precision welding machine in the truck. This sudden situation made the tense atmosphere in the studio pause. The old man walked into Rema Studio. His face was thin, and his eyebrows were very long. Although the corners of his eyes were full of wrinkles, his eyes were still sharp and deep. There was a sense of vicissitudes that young people did not have. Charlotte had never seen this old man before, and with the truck and crane outside the shop, he was full of questions. He was about to ask, but he did not expect Ren Wenxiang to speak first. "Uncle Fu." Ren Wenxiang was very surprised and very respectful. "Why are you here?" The old man called Uncle Fu looked at Ren Wenxiang and said calmly, "Wenxiang, what are you doing here?" Ren Wenxiang smiled a little awkwardly. "I am looking for my friend." The old man called Uncle Fu did not say a word to Ren Wenxiang. He looked at Charlotte, then looked at Ma Xiaoan and asked, "Which of you is Charlotte?" Charlotte said, "I am. May I ask who you are?" The old man called Uncle Fu showed a smile on his face. "My name is Fu Chuanfu. I am the old housekeeper of the Shintu family. Haha, I heard about what happened yesterday. Thank you so much." As soon as he said that, Xia Lei immediately understood. Shintu Tianin's appearance suddenly appeared in his mind. Everything about her was so clear, as if she was right in front of him. She was still so proud and aloof, her beauty unmatched in this world. Next to him, Ren Wenxiang looked at Charlotte in surprise. Everything he had now was given to him by Shintu Tianin, but he could not understand how a small man like Charlotte, who ran a small shop on the street, could know a woman like Shintu Tianin. His feelings at the moment could not be expressed in word. It was extremely complicated. Fu Chuanfu continued to say, "Miss Fu asked me to send you some equipment to express her gratitude." Before Charlotte said anything, Ren Wenxiang interrupted, "Mr. Fu, what's going on? How could Miss Shintu let you?" Fu Chuanfu frowned. "Wenxiang, don't you know that I don't like to be interrupted when I am talking?" Ren Wenxiang was stunned for a moment. He closed his mouth with a red face. Chapter 44. In fact, when Fu Chuanfu said that he was the housekeeper of the Shintu family, Charlotte guessed that the equipment on the truck was sent by Shintu Tianyin. He was ordering equipment on Alibaba. The equipment sent by Shintu Tianyin was a very advanced CNC lathe, which was very expensive. Lema Studio really needed such equipment. If he accepted the equipment sent by Shintu Tianyin, he could withdraw the money for the equipment and use it in other ways, such as buying a better car. However, he made a different decision. Thank you, Mr. Fu. Please tell Miss Shintu that I appreciate her kindness, but I won't accept her things. You can take them back. Charlotte said. Why? Fu Chuanfu looked at Charlotte in confusion. Obviously, he didn't expect that Charlotte would refuse. Charlotte said, no reason. A man should have a man's backbone. He didn't want this kind of gift. Oh, I remember. You said that if Miss Shintu wants to thank you, she can donate 1 million yuan to a nursing home or an orphanage. Don't worry, I've already done it. Fu Chuanfu said with a smile, and then took out a receipt and handed it to Charlotte. This is the receipt for the donation of 1 million yuan. It's in your name. Holding the receipt and seeing the donor, Charlotte didn't know what to do. Miss Shintu fulfilled her promise. The equipment on the truck is a gift from Miss Shintu. Please accept it, Mr. Xia. Fu Chuanfu looked very sincere. Charlotte still shook his head. I'll accept this receipt as a souvenir. You can take the equipment back. I won't accept it. Mr. Xia, you. Fu Chuanfu looked very embarrassed, but he didn't look angry at all. Ren Wenxiang sneered. Mr. Fu, some people are born to be cheap. You give him good meat, but he doesn't want it. He just wants to dig for food in the garbage. I think we should forget it. Fu Chuanfu suddenly looked up and glared at Ren Wenxiang. What are you talking about? How did you speak to Mr. Xia? Ren Wenxiang was a little confused. He couldn't understand why Fu Chuanfu would suddenly get angry at him when he was obviously helping Fu Chuanfu. Moreover, he didn't give him any face at all. At this moment, Charlotte smiled. Old Master Fu, you heard it too. I only know how to scavenge for food in the garbage. I'm almost like a beggar. How can I accept a gift from a noble like Miss Shintu? You should take it back. Fu Chuanfu then said, Mr. Xia, don't misunderstand. My young miss has never looked down on anyone, and she definitely doesn't have the slightest intention of disrespecting you. Charlotte shrugged. Old Master Fu, please don't say any more. I've already made it very clear that I don't want the things in the car. You can take them back. Fu Chuanfu looked at Ren Wenxiang again. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and apologize to Mr. Xia. Ren Wenxiang couldn't say anything. His face alternated between green and red. He was extremely ashamed and angry. He had just said that Charlotte was a beggar who was digging in the garbage, but in the blink of an eye, he was scolded and asked him to apologize to the beggar in his eyes. Charlotte was still thinking about how to refuse the equipment sent by Shintu Tianyin, but Ma Shaoan interrupted and said, Old sir, this kid lacks manners. He was very arrogant just now. If you ask him to apologize to us, we will accept the equipment outside. Charlotte wanted to stop Ma Shaoan, but Ma Shaoan's mouth was too fast. In the blink of an eye, the words were spilled out. Fu Chuanfu seemed to see the hope of completing his mission. He then said to Ren Wenxiang, Wenxiang, didn't you hear? Hurry up and apologize to Mr. Xia. Ren Wenxiang's face turned red and he opened his mouth wide, but he didn't say a word for a long time. Ma Shaoan was still adding fuel to the fire. I thought some people were the best in the world, but I didn't expect that there would be such a coward. Ha ha ha, interesting, interesting. You, Ren Wenxiang glared at Ma Shaoan. If Fu Chuanfu wasn't around, he would have kicked him. You want to hit me? Come on. Ma Shaoan deliberately made trouble. Charlotte said, Shaoan, stop it. Ma Shaoan closed his mouth. He didn't listen to anyone, but he had to listen to Charlotte. Fu Chuanfu's face became more and more ugly. Ren Wenxiang, do you want me to go back and tell Miss that it was because of you that Mr. Xia refused her gift? Upon hearing this, Ren Wenxiang's face suddenly turned white. He looked at Charlotte, and his heart was full of unwillingness, but he could only lower his head and say in a well-behaved manner, Mr. Xia, I'm sorry. It was my fault just now. Please forgive me. Charlotte said lightly, you have to learn to be polite in the future. This is the most basic thing to do. Ren Wenxiang gritted his teeth and said bitterly, I know. And me? Ma Shaoan said, he hasn't apologized to me yet. Ren Wenxiang's eyes were so cold that he wanted to kill someone. Fu Chuanfu said, Ren Wenxiang, hurry up. Ren Wenxiang then turned to Ma Shaoan and said coldly, I'm sorry. Ah. Ma Shaoan laughed very happily. Ren Wenxiang turned to Zhou Xiaohong and said, Miss, I'm sorry just now. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Zhou Xiaohong quickly said, It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to say sorry. Fu Chuanfu said, Mr. Xia, is that okay? I'll let the crane driver unload the goods. Charlotte said, Mr. Fu, I really don't. Fu Chuanfu interrupted Charlotte's words. I've done what you asked me to do. My miss never likes people who fail. You can't let me go back without being able to report, can you? This. Charlotte didn't know what to do. Fu Chuanfu followed him out of the door and said loudly to the crane driver, Unload the goods. He was afraid that Charlotte would find an excuse to refuse again. If that was the case, he really couldn't explain to Shintu Tianyin. The crane unloaded all the goods from the flatbed truck. It only took a few minutes. The unloaded equipment was placed in the open space in front of Lei Ma Studio. They were all brand new and the most advanced equipment. The total value of the equipment added up to almost 1 million yuan. Charlotte was reluctant to buy these advanced equipment on Alibaba's platform, but Shintu Tianyin just gave them to him. 1 million yuan was definitely a huge sum of money for Charlotte. It was quite important. But for people like Shintu Tianyin, 1 million yuan could be a wristwatch, a set of custom-made clothes, or pocket money that could be thrown away at will. That was all. Charlotte had helped her solve an assassination crisis, so it was reasonable for her to give Charlotte a few pieces of equipment. Mr. Xia, that's all for now. Goodbye. Fu Chuanfu said goodbye. He didn't want to stay a second longer. He rushed back to report. Other than letting Ren Wenxiang apologize to Charlotte and company, he didn't say a word to Ren Wenxiang before he left. Fu Chuanfu was the old housekeeper of the Shin Tu family clan. He had served 3 generations of the Shin Tu family clan heads. He was already a member of the Shin Tu family clan. Ren Wenxiang was nothing in his eyes, so there was no need for him to say hello. Peaceful, do you still want to stay here? Ren Wenxiang's face no longer had a gentle expression. He had already lost all his face. Only by taking Peaceful away could he save some of his pitiful face. Peaceful wanted to say something, but she stopped. She used the corner of her eyes to look at Xia Lei. It was as if she wanted Xia Lei to make her stay. Charlotte didn't keep her, but he said, Sister Ning, if you want to stay here, no one can take you away by force. This sentence was for Ren Wenxiang to hear. If the previous incident had not happened, Ren Wenxiang wouldn't have cared about such words. But it was different now. Before he figured out the relationship between Charlotte and Shintu Tianyin, he didn't dare to offend Charlotte. However, he still had a way to force Peaceful to submit. He took out his phone and said, Peaceful, I will call Uncle now. I will ask him to persuade you. I will go with you, okay? Peaceful's tears rolled down from the corner of her eyes. Ren Wenxiang's lips curled into a smile. He reached out to grab Peaceful's hand, but Peaceful avoided him. She angrily stormed out the door. Ren Wenxiang smiled and said, Goodbye, the 3 of you. Ma Xiao spat and said, I have never seen someone as thick-skinned as you. Ren Wenxiang pretended not to hear him. He turned around and left Thunder Horse Studio. Fu Chuanfu left. Peaceful and Ren Wenxiang also left. The studio suddenly became quiet. Charlotte looked at the equipment in front of the door. Ma Xiao and Zhou Xiaohong looked at Charlotte. Their eyes looked as if they had just met Charlotte for the first time. After being in a daze for a long while, Xia Lei muttered to himself, "How tyrannical! Who would forcefully give someone a gift? Brother, if you don't want it, give it to me," Ma Xiaoan said. "I will sell it to marry a wife." Charlotte came back to his senses. He smiled and said, "F*ck off. If you hadn't said so much, I wouldn't have accepted the equipment. It was because you said so much that I accepted it." Ma Xiaoan looked very depressed. "Leister, what the hell is going on? When did you get to know the woman from the Shinto family? Why didn't I know? What happened to you? Why did she give you such an expensive gift? What I don't understand is that you still don't want it. Is there anyone as stupid as you?" Zhou Xiaohong also said, "Yeah, Brother Lei, why don't you want it? Don't we need this equipment?" Charlotte shook his head with a wry smile. He didn't explain. Some things couldn't be explained, because he couldn't tell Ma Xiao and Zhou Xiaohong how he saw the female killer plant the bomb. He also couldn't tell Ma Xiao and Zhou Xiaohong that he didn't want to be looked down upon by a woman like Shinto Tianyin, which was why he had decided to reject the gift. The second reason, in the eyes of a normal person, could be described as stupid. "Say something. What is going on?" Ma Xiaoan urged. He was very curious. Charlotte said, "Don't talk nonsense. I will tell you later. Now we need to bring the equipment in and install it." Ma Xiaoan said with dissatisfaction, "Even if you don't tell me, I can guess. The woman from the Shinto family borrowed your seeds, right?" Charlotte kicked him. "Borrow your head? Get to work. Let's get to work." Ma Xiaoan mumbled as he walked out. Zhou Xiaohong followed behind him. Her apple face was red. She said to herself as she walked, "Brother Lei's seeds are really expensive. The women in the city are really willing." Charlotte. Chapter 45. After Peaceful left with Ren Wenxiang, she did not appear again, nor did she call. Charlotte was worried about her, but he did not call her. He had his concerns. Peaceful's parents liked Ren Wenxiang, and they wanted to get Peaceful and Ren Wenxiang together. If he got involved, he would become a third party. He did not want Peaceful's mother to see him as an enemy. If he caused Peaceful's father to have a heart attack, that would be bad. Because of these reasons, he temporarily forgot about Peaceful. In the end, Xia Lei cancelled his online order for equipment because the equipment that Shinto Tianyin had asked Fu Chuanfu to send over was enough to upgrade Rema Studio. It would be a waste to buy more equipment. He saved money, and he had the funds to buy a car. He bought a Great Wall H6 and a Great Wall pickup truck. The Great Wall H6 was for him to drive, and the Great Wall pickup truck was for Ma Xiaoan to drive. It also served as a delivery truck, delivering processed parts to customers. On the fourth day, the 5 new workers came. They had all worked together at the construction site. One was a teacher in his early 50s, Fu Yang Benkai. One was an honest worker from Sichuan, Wang Youfu. One was a local middle-aged master, Lu Xuebing. One was a 19-year-old boy who had just graduated from a technical school, Chui Yong. The last was a woman from the north, Chen Ajiao. She was 28 or 29 years old, and she had an open personality. Of these 5 workers, aside from Yang Benkai, who had recommended Chui Yong, the rest had all worked with Charlotte, so they were all familiar with each other. "Lei, I did not expect you to be a boss in such a short time." The old master, Yang Benkai, smiled. "In the future, you will have to take care of your old comrades." Charlotte smiled and said, "Of course. You have taken care of me in the past, and now I will take care of you. We will earn money together." "Hehehe. An e-bashi. The honest and kind Wang Yufu only said this sentence. His tan face was filled with an honest smile. Zhou Xiaohong looked at him from the side and thought to herself, this fellow from the same hometown, he's very mellow. The youngest, Cui Yong, was still wearing a pair of glasses. He was a little reserved, but he still plucked up the courage to greet Charlotte. Boss Lei, please take care of me in the future. Charlotte patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, you're welcome. I'm not much older than you. Just call me Brother Lazy. Cui Yong called out, Brother Lazy? Work hard. This studio is our home. Charlotte said. Leicester, you've grown up. Why are you so powerful? My dead man can't even compare to one of your toes. He only knows how to torture me all day long. Chen Ajiao giggled and spoke as fast as a machine gun. Do you need a lady boss here? He must be lacking a lady boss. I'm thinking. Ma Xiaoan interrupted Chen Ajiao. Sister Ajiao, come on. Don't tell me you want to be our boss's wife? Go go go. Chen Ajiao made a gesture of shooing away a mosquito. She was not embarrassed at all. If Leicester likes me, I dare to go to bed with him now. Leicester, do you dare? Charlotte. The studio suddenly burst into laughter. Such jokes were common on the construction site. Men and women would say anything. Sometimes women were more open than men. They came from the construction site. The habits developed on the construction site could not be changed in a short time. Leicester, do you dare? The local master, Lu Xuebing, urged. Charlotte looked slightly embarrassed. Don't make trouble. This kind of joke is over. Chen Ajiao said, that's right. I'm a married woman with a child. How can I be worthy of our Leicester? I'm talking about Yanzi from our village. That girl is so beautiful. Her skin is like the skin of her face. Her butt is big and round. Her breasts, beep beep. A series of car horns interrupted Chen Ajiao's words. The person who honked the horn was Jiang Rui. She was driving a brand new Great Wall H6. That car was Xia Lei's car. He still didn't dare to drive it on the road. He only dared to practice in the empty space in the district. When he wasn't driving, he would let Jiang Rui drive to get used to it. Naturally, Jiang Rui was 100% willing. The premise was that Xia Lei had to work hard. Jiang Rui rolled down the window and shouted, Leicester, hurry up. We're running out of time. Charlotte said, my sister is going to study in the capital today. I have to see her off. Shaoan, you lead everyone to work. Let's have a good meal tonight. I'll welcome everyone. Okay. Yang Benkai and the others responded with a smile. Ma Shaoan said, Leicester, tell Xiaoxue for me. Study hard and be successful. Charlotte patted Ma Xiaoan's shoulder and said, I'll definitely tell Xiaoxue. Everyone, I'll leave first. See you tonight. They saw Charlotte out of the door. Jiang Rui urged again, hurry up. Don't waste time. Charlotte said, why are you urging me? I'm here. Jiang Rui bent over and opened the door for Charlotte. Charlotte got in the car. She turned on the ignition and drove into the driveway. Is there any problem with this car? Charlotte asked. This car was the most expensive thing he had ever bought in his life. He was afraid that there would be any quality problems. Jiang Rui said, no problem. Don't listen to those people who brag about how good a joint venture car is. This car is easier to drive than my Polo. It also has more space. It's very cost-effective. Charlotte was relieved. He watched Jiang Rui shift gears and step on the accelerator. He felt a little itchy. Don't just drive. You have to teach me how to drive. Jiang Rui rolled her eyes at Charlotte. You have a driver's license but you don't know how to drive. You're really something. Isn't that Long Bing afraid that you'll hit someone? She even dared to give you a driver's license. Are you going to hand it over or not? Yes. Put your hand on the gear lever. I'll teach you when to change gears. Jiang Rui said as she slowed down the car. Charlotte put his left hand on the gear lever and waited nervously for Jiang Rui's instructions. Jiang Rui suddenly stretched out her right hand and grasped Charlotte's hand. Her hand was soft and her skin was smooth. Charlotte's nerves suddenly became sensitive. He said awkwardly, "Why are you grasping my hand?" "To teach you how to drive. What do you think I want to do?" Jiang Rui glared at Charlotte and stepped on the clutch. Then, she held Charlotte's hand and pushed it forward. "Now it's the third gear. When the car is running, you have to increase the gear. Remember? Remember." Charlotte's eyes fell on Jiang Rui's thigh. His brain seemed to have become sensitive, and there were some messy imaginations. In this way, one was teaching and the other was learning. The Great Wall H6 was sometimes fast and sometimes slow on the lane, which annoyed many drivers with car rage. The journey that could be completed in half an hour took Jiang Rui and Charlotte a full hour. Back in the community, Charlotte led Jiang Rui into his house. There was a large suitcase on the sofa in the living room. Xia Shui was ready to go. When she saw Charlotte and Jiang Rui enter the door, she stood up. "Brother, Sister Rui, why did you come back so late? I have been waiting for more than an hour. Your brother wants to learn how to drive. I will teach him on the way." Jiang Rui said with a smile, "You don't know. Your brother is as stupid as a big stupid cow. He can't even learn a simple increase and decrease gear after learning for a long time." Xia Shui glanced at Charlotte and smiled mysteriously. Charlotte rolled his eyes at Jiang Rui. "Let's go. You are so long-winded. You will definitely become a blabbermouth in the future." Jiang Rui said, "A blabbermouth is a blabbermouth. I don't need you to care." Okay. Don't quarrel. You have been quarreling for more than 20 years. Haven't you had enough? Take me to the airport or else I won't catch the plane," Xia Shui urged. The two stopped quarreling. They helped Xia Shui with her luggage and left the house. When they arrived at the airport, Charlotte sent Xia Shui to the ticket gate. "Little Shui, remember to call Miss Long when you arrive in the capital. She will take care of you." "Brother, don't worry. I will remember." Xia Shui's eyes were filled with tears. It was the first time for her to leave her brother since she grew up. She was reluctant. "Come, little Shui. Sister Rui, hug me." Jiang Rui went up and hugged Xia Shui tightly in her arms. "Sister Rui, I can't bear to part with you and my brother." Xia Shui couldn't help it anymore. Tears flowed out from her eyes. Jiang Rui comforted her gently. "Silly girl, it's not like you won't come back. Aren't you coming back during the winter vacation? If you miss your brother and me, you can call us. You can also use QQ video chat. Won't you be able to see each other?" Xia Shui choked and said, "But," Charlotte's heart was also reluctant, but at this time, he put on a serious face. "Why are you crying? You have to learn to be independent. Go in quickly. Call me when you arrive to let me know that you are safe." Only then did Xia Shui stop crying. She dragged her suitcase into the ticket gate. When she walked into the enthronement passage, she looked back every few steps. That scene made Charlotte's heart feel sad. Until Xia Shui couldn't be seen, Charlotte turned and left. On the way back, Charlotte continued to learn how to drive. On a relatively remote road, Jiang Rui let Charlotte drive, and she sat in the front passenger seat to command. Learning how to drive was a good thing, but Charlotte felt that Jiang Rui was like a female pervert. Not only did she touch his hand, but she also touched his thigh. "Step on the brake. Step on the brake." Again, sure enough, before his voice fell, Jiang Rui's hand fell on his thigh. She pressed his thigh to let him step on the brake. She pressed the place near the base of his thigh, which was very sensitive. This made Charlotte very nervous. He was worried that Jiang Rui would move her hand up a little bit at any time and pull up his handbrake. Back in the community, Jiang Rui drove Charlotte's Great Wall H6 to the police station. Before leaving, she asked Charlotte for 400 yuan for gas. Charlotte was depressed. "She drives my car and still needs to use my money for gas. What kind of person is she?" Back home, the house was cold and cheerless. Xia Shui was gone, and Charlotte's heart was empty. He walked to the TV cabinet and looked at the family photo. In the photo, he and Xia Shui were smiling happily. His father and mother also showed a happy smile. However, those happy days would never come back. Then, he saw the glass bottle behind the family portrait, and the pill in the glass bottle. When he just wanted to take it out to see, his phone rang. The phone call was from Qi Jingqiu. Lazy Shitian Hotel, room 201. I'm waiting for you. Qi Jingqiu went straight to the point. Charlotte was slightly stunned. You are in the hotel. What are you waiting for me for? Waiting for bed, Qi Jingqiu said with a smile. Charlotte frowned. Don't joke around. I'm really not in the mood today. Qi Jingqiu said, well, it's business. Didn't I talk to you before? I have an order for you. Charlotte said, well, I'm coming right away. Chapter 46. The Shitian Hotel was located in a remote area, and it took the taxi more than 40 minutes to get there. Charlotte got out of the car and entered the hotel. He asked the front desk and went straight to room 201. Qi Jingqiu opened the door for Charlotte. Charlotte was stunned the moment he saw Qi Jingqiu. Qi Jingqiu was wearing a white bikini, which was not even as big as a towel. Moreover, there were no clients in the room behind her. It was empty. A white bikini was more seductive than a black one, because white had a certain degree of transparency, and the darker parts would more or less be revealed. It was hazy and shameful. He had seen everything about her in Dongfang Heavy Industries, but he was still attracted to her at this time. Please come in. Qi Jingqiu smiled. She looked so gentle. Charlotte didn't move. Where's the client? Qi Jingqiu put a soft hand on Charlotte's shoulder. The client is my client. You want to meet my client? Are you trying to get rid of me? This was Charlotte's plan. He wanted to work together, get to know the client, and then get rid of Qi Jingqiu and talk about the next business deal with the client. He didn't expect Qi Jingqiu to be such a cunning woman. She asked him to meet but didn't bring the client. Charlotte smiled. Of course not. I was just asking casually. I'm here. Let's talk about business. Only business. Qi Jingqiu's voice was soft and weak. If we don't talk about business, are we going to talk about love? Charlotte grabbed her hand and took it off his shoulder. He smiled bitterly and said, Do you usually dress like this to talk about business? Qi Jingqiu said seductively, If you don't like this color, I can change to another color. Charlotte was speechless. Stockings and a student outfit? Or an apron? Qi Jingqiu continued to tease Charlotte. Charlotte couldn't take it any more and interrupted her. I'll wait for you in the hall. We'll talk in the hall. With that, he turned and left. Qi Jingqiu reached out and grabbed the corner of his shirt. We can't talk in the lobby. I'm from a state-owned enterprise. I'll introduce you to business for a commission. If someone finds out, I'll be done for, and you won't be able to earn any money. Otherwise, why would I open a room to talk to you? Charlotte turned around and looked at Qi Jingqiu. He was a little speechless. All right, let's talk in the room. But you have to put on your clothes. You'll disturb me. I can't concentrate. Qi Jingqiu giggled. Looks like I'm still charming in your heart. Charlotte did not say yes or no. Sometimes, men couldn't help but use their bodies to think. He was a hot-blooded man, so naturally, this kind of situation was inevitable. After entering the room, Qi Jingqiu put on her clothes. It was a super short skirt and a tight cotton V-neck t-shirt. Her cleavage and fair legs were exposed to the air without any cover. It was sexy and seductive. However, compared to the bikini outfit earlier, Charlotte felt much better. Charlotte knew very well that Qi Jingqiu was seducing him. If he wanted to sleep with her, he wouldn't need to take the initiative to have a good time with her. However, he was even more aware of what kind of woman Qi Jingqiu was. Sleeping with her would bring him a moment of pleasure, but endless trouble would follow. He wouldn't go to bed with her, and he definitely wouldn't fall into her trap. Qi Jingqiu opened her briefcase on the sofa and took out a document and a contract. Then, she handed them to Charlotte. Take a look. If there's no problem, sign it. Charlotte first looked at the document. It contained the detailed requirements of the parts that the customer needed to process, including specifications, materials, precision, and so on. The requirements were very high. Then, he looked at the contract again. The other party proposed to pay on delivery, which meant that the other party would pay after receiving the goods. After reading the document and the contract, Charlotte said, I have no problem with the parts that the customer needs to process. I can do it. However, the contract says that he needs to receive the goods before he can pay. I don't agree with that. Is there any problem with paying on delivery? Qi Jingqiu looked at Charlotte. Charlotte said, Of course there's a problem. I'll pay for the materials and labor. I'll invest first, but he doesn't bear any risk. If I process the things and he doesn't want them, who can I blame? Qi Jingqiu said, Don't worry about that. I promise you that as long as you process the things, you will definitely get the payment. Charlotte smiled. The problem is that I don't believe you. You. Qi Jingqiu suddenly became angry. Charlotte said, Don't be angry. I'm just telling the truth. I know very well what kind of person you are. Also, the price on the contract is wrong. It should be at least 20% higher. A trace of hatred flashed in Qi Jingqiu's eyes, but she quickly replaced it with a smile. She also spoke sweetly. Lei, why do you say that? Do you still hate me in your heart when I refused you? If that's the case, how can we cooperate? This price is very reasonable for you and your small studio. If you raise it by 10%, how can we do it? With the price you asked, why would people look for your small studio to do it? Can't they just look for a large company? Charlotte smiled. The reason is very simple. I can do it better. Also, the price I asked is very reasonable. Based on the materials and precision requirements on the document you gave me, if your customer asks Dongfang Heavy Industry to do it, the price will be at least 50% higher. Don't think that I don't know the market. Qi Jingqiu frowned. Lei, you're making it very difficult for me. Charlotte said, Don't forget, you still have to take 8% commission from me. Based on the price on the contract, I won't make any profit except for yours. In short, the price on the contract will be increased by 20%, and 50% of the goods will be paid first. The remaining 50% will be paid together when the goods are delivered. That's my request. I'll do it if you meet my request. Otherwise, you can find someone else. Qi Jingqiu's face was cloudy. She thought for a moment and said, I'll make a phone call and see what the customer thinks. Charlotte made a gesture to invite her. Go ahead. Let me know the result after you've discussed it. Qi Jingqiu got up, entered the bathroom, and closed the door. Then, the sound of water came from the bathroom. Damn, is she peeing and calling the customer at the same time? Charlotte frowned and thought. He really wanted to hear how Qi Jingqiu discussed with the customer. Unfortunately, he could only hear the sound of Qi Jingqiu's peeing. He couldn't hear Qi Jingqiu's voice at all. Obviously, she deliberately lowered her voice so that he couldn't hear it. The business world was like a battlefield. A good businessman could often see through the opponent's mind and judge the opponent's bottom line and motive based on all kinds of information in their hand. Thus, they could take the initiative in business negotiations and obtain the greatest benefit. On the contrary, if they didn't know anything, they would be passive. Even if they could make money, it would be pitiful, and the business wouldn't be able to grow. Charlotte wasn't a shrewd businessman. He even lacked the most basic business experience. However, he also had his unique advantage, which was his left eye. When the idea of obtaining the customer's information emerged in his mind, Charlotte's left eye instantly entered another state. The atomized glass door of the bathroom opposite disappeared from his sight in the blink of an eye, and Qi Jingqiu, who was sitting on the toilet, instantly entered his sight. Qi Jingqiu sat in the horse's hooves, the white bikini on her knees. She was really peeing and calling the customer. At this time, she seemed to have just finished peeing, and she looked very relaxed. However, because she was holding the phone in her hand, she didn't pull up the white bikini. She just sat there, with a smile on her face, and spoke with a natural expression. Charlotte could see her appearance when she spoke, but he couldn't hear her voice. Charlotte secretly said in his heart, "This won't do. I can see her appearance when she speaks, but I can't hear her voice. This doesn't help me understand the customer's information at all. This Qi Jingqiu is really cunning. She acts like a professional spy. Is it necessary?" Thinking of professional spies, another idea suddenly appeared in Charlotte's mind. Right, spy. In spy movies, some powerful spies can read people's lips. If I can read lips in this situation, no matter how Qi Jingqiu guards against me, I can understand the customer's information. I can also learn useful information from her lips when she is talking to the customer on the phone. Charlotte already had the urge to learn lip reading. With this in mind, Xia Lei stared at Qi Jingqiu, who was sitting on the toilet. However, what he peeped at was not Qi Jingqiu's white and tender thighs or that secret place, but her lips. He used his left eye to record every movement of her lip. At this time, his left eye was actually like a camera that penetrated the atomized glass door. Everything about Qi Jingqiu was recorded, no matter how big or small. 2 minutes later, Qi Jingqiu picked up the bikini, washed her hands, and walked out of the bathroom. Charlotte closed his eyes, but the continuous use of his left eye's X-ray vision still brought him some hallucinations. Just now, the moment the bathroom door opened, he actually saw Shintu Tianin, not Qi Jingqiu. Shintu Tianin's body was only covered with a layer of chiffon, so sexy that it made him suffocate. He didn't dare to look again, and quickly closed his eyes. "Okay, you win," Qi Jingqiu said in a helpless tone. "My customer has agreed to your request. The price will be increased by 50%, and he will pay 50% of the purchase price first. But he also has a condition." Charlotte still didn't dare to open his eyes. What condition? "Before 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to make a sample. After he sees it, if he thinks it's okay, he will let me sign the contract with him," Qi Jingqiu said. At this time, Charlotte calmed down and he opened his eyes. "Okay, bring the contract before 5 o'clock in the afternoon." Qi Jingqiu chuckled. "You are really confident, but I know your strength. Compared to the batch of work you completed at Dongfang Heavy Industry last time, this time it's much easier." "Okay, that's it. Goodbye." Charlotte got up and walked to the door. Qi Jingqiu said, "Hey? I helped you get this 300,000 yuan order, and you're just going to leave like this? Don't you have anything to say?" Xia Lei turned around and looked at her. 300,000. You've taken 24,000 just for talking. How about this, if you don't take my money, I'll treat you to a meal. How about that? Qi Jingqiu said, "Goodbye." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.